And we're live. Other Player Podcast, episode 17. As the title said, major changes at PlayStation and also Square Enix. And then we have the Hellblade 2 fiasco. Other than that, um, oh yeah, and then the PlayStation numbers and Square Enix changes and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a very quiet week, but let's get to the intros. Weeb, man, how are you? And no ending to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I see.
No, fuck you.
Now you
Yeah,
feel how I felt.
yeah. Well, I am at chapter 13, so I guess there's two more to go. But
It
of course,
overstayed its welcome, eh?
yeah, of course they're gonna throw more side quests at you before you can go to the ending. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, man, this
Mm-hmm.
game. Like, I'm giving it one more week because I think then Vision of Mana comes out, if I'm not mistaken. So I really need to switch another game because
What game?
Jesus, Visions of Mana.
Oh, it's coming next week. Oh, wow.
I think not next week. I think 1st of June.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta finish this game soon because it's driving me fucking insane. I'm too close to the ending to quit, so
That's how they get you.
that's how they get you. Yeah, but yeah, no.
Days Gone syndrome.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with once I'm done with it, I'm never gonna play it ever again. Shoot me if I ever
Rebirth?
tell you I'm gonna try it again. Yeah. Right. Like I said, it's not like if it was terrible, I would have quit it a long time ago. But man, it they're I
It's just
never.
too much.
It's too much. Yeah. And it's just all these little annoyances. Like they're every time you're fucking trying to start a mini game, it has a cutscene. You can skip
Yeah.
it, but
Eh,
everything is mini game, and it's just too much. Like I can kind of get like that Square sort of not happy with the results or something. I don't know if they actually are, but or had higher expectations, I guess, because just game development time alone probably costs a shit ton of money. It's like, but there's so much stuff that you could have cut. Like I mean, I'm all for letting developers do what they want to do, but at some point you need to rein it in. And I think this game could have been considerably shorter and still be a fun experience. But yeah, who am I?
I see, I see. Yeah, basically what how I felt. Nelson, how are you, man? What you been playing?
I finished Dead Island 2. Been playing Stellar Blade. I gotta finish Final Fantasy 7 too, but Stellar Blade came out, and I figured Stellar Blade probably wasn't as long as I got left on Final Fantasy 7 because the game never ends. So
Yeah, the never-ending saga of Rebirth.
I'm
Never
almost
ending
freaking
story.
100 hours into it, and there's probably I don't want to even know how much I
The
got left.
the irony is, your guys are not suffering from it. Morgan and Nate, we're gonna hear them complain when they are gonna go through it again.
One day.
Like, how the game never ends.
That
That's
probably will be when part 3 comes.
Right?
but yeah. Speaking of Morgan, lady, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm
I
good. Did Nelson finish?
no,
Yep.
no. I
Yep.
thought Nelson was finished.
Okay. Um, yeah, I just been concentrating on Stellar Blade, trying to beat it and get the plat. I'm just like focusing on getting like all the side stuff done and
Collectibles, right?
collectibles and
Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It's just, everything's just spread out, so I just have to like, go all over the map and to different locations to find everything. But yeah, that's so far. Stellar Blade's my game of the year so far. Um, I'm enjoying it. It's a strong like 9.5 out of 10 for me. Um,
Mhm.
the only fault I really have with it is like the platforming's off a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's not over cumbersome to the point where like, you know, I feel like it's there too much. You know, there's not too many platforming
Elements.
areas where where
Thank
it's
God.
annoying or anything like that. So
I just got
yeah.
through one with some crane things with the things swinging. That was obnoxious
Yeah,
because you don't
yeah.
have that graded control. It was It's you'll see if you haven't gotten
Yeah,
to past the point of no return yet.
if
It's
they want to continue um adding platforming elements in their future games or DLCs or whatever they have planned, I would say they have to tighten the controls up a little bit.
They need to fix
She
it.
he's jumps a little too wild, and it's just you don't really have that much control over her movements. You know, she's very
That's the
sporadic
problem.
with her movements a lot,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they have to tighten it up and like give us the ability to, you know, control how far she jumps, maybe do like a little half jump or something. Like, you know, they have to tighten up the controls essentially. Um,
Yeah, there's not enough
because she's definitely
finesse.
more of an action player than a you know, kind of stealthy uh gymnast kind of precise movement, you know. But other than that though, amazing. Like I haven't gotten to the ending because once there's a, you know, there's a point of no return in the game, so I'm just kind of waiting before I get to that last area to try to get as many trophies as I can before I start the ending. So hopefully I should be done before the next podcast. But yeah, that's just been my full focus right now. And then after that, it's going to be going back to the backlogs. So yeah.
I see, I see. And last but not least, Innate, what you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I mean, I'm in full force on, trying to get the platinum for Stellar Blade. Once I pretty much decided and kind of got most of the stuff out of the way and saw that it wasn't too much of a hassle, mainly the cans. That's like the first thing that drove me crazy. But once I got past that, it was pretty straightforward. I'm really loving the game. Like I said, in agreement with Morgan, it's a 9.5 for me, and currently my game of the year. So I mean, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, this team did amazing. Um, reading about it and reading into the interview that happened with it and everything, where he basically stated the game that we have today wouldn't have happened without PlayStation, and for all the haters out there, he had to make sure to let them know like this game would be nowhere near what it is, in scope, size, like just intricacies and everything they added, was all due to a lot of help that PlayStation really put out for them, with QA testing and sharing tools and a ton of stuff. So I'm glad PlayStation really pulled in on this one because it just seems like we just got a 10 times better game. And I mean, personally, I've also not run into any glitches, which has been impressive. I mean, this game has been
Yeah, I
completely bug
heard
free.
this game is bug free clean. Like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and a day one new game plus, again, another just impressive feat and a robust new game plus at that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's just been impressive. And that's, like I said, that's mainly been the only thing I've been playing. I still kind of jump back to Ayuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes, and trying to pace myself through that. But I really kind of stopped because, like, I really want to just do nothing but play that when I go into it. Um, and then also, of course, I tried the Fallout 4 update. I mean, that's easy for me because that's something that's really familiar. I have hundreds of hours in Fallout 4, so it was fun to go back through that and really just play that. But yeah, that's pretty much most of what I've been playing. I have a ton more, a ton more in the backlog. Like me and Morgan were joking the other day when we were trying to remember all the games that we have to finish,
Don't
and
worry, I can remind you guys. I remember it all.
yeah, we were laughing about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and we were like, oh
Yep.
yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I gotta
Um,
Rise of
finish that yet
Ronin.
too. I'm like
Rise
20
of
some hours in. I
Ronin.
probably got a lot yet.
yeah, I mean, I'm basically at the end of Rise of Ronin, so that's not really a thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm literally in the very very last area, but
Rebirth.
that's more of a matter of if I'm going to go for the platinum or not is really what's holding me up
Uh,
on Ronin. Rebirth is just I'm not is on hiatus. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
yeah,
That shit is on
yeah.
hiatus, and I don't know when I'm going back to it.
And Euden Chronicles there.
Yeah, that's the one I mentioned earlier. That's what I was saying. I don't want to play it in tandem with something else. I want to really enjoy it
Yeah,
and focus fully on that once I'm playing it. So yeah, I mean, lots and lots of stuff, and then we were laughing because we were talking about the stuff we skipped, which is the Banisher's New Eden, which has now been going on sale quite a bit. Um,
oh, nice.
and then, of course, later in the year, Morgan already pre-ordered the Steelbook, but later in the year, we're both big Assassin's Creed fans, so everything is
Yeah, we're
full
gonna talk
stop
about that.
when Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out. I still like Assassin's Creed Red. Like to me, I don't know. That just sounded cool. I
Yeah, I
know,
thought this was red, but no,
yeah,
this is
yeah. I know it was codename Red, so I knew they'd change it. But I just kind of like. I thought it had a nice ring to it. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
okay. As for me, well, it was genuinely just Indies Metrovania. I got the plot for Animal Well. Oof, amazing game. Terrible to plot because the collectibles are atrocious to find. Other than that, I finished a game called Time Spinner. I literally just, well, I beat it 4 hours ago or something like that. I got most of the endings. It's not really important to get the rest of them because it requires another playthrough, which I have no time for. Too many games to play. Um, I started a game called Vernal Edge. It's an indie. Um, I got bored from it, and I'm playing a game called Record of Loaders, also an indie, also Metrovania.
Record of Lowe's War.
Okay, yeah, okay. It's interesting so far, and the big news for me at least is Time Spinner is actually getting a sequel, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, that's about it for me. So we're gonna jump straight to the topics and we're gonna talk about, oh boy, um Square Enix. So I've seen a lot of misinformation being spread around Square Enix. Some things that 16 and Rebirth did and Frontier did well, still failed while. Others says that they haven't. I'm genuinely not sure which one it is. However, what I do know is Square Enix is shifting its uh, concept from no longer involving itself with exclusivity deals. I'm genuinely curious if that's gonna help them in the long run. I believe that's gonna be their death sentence. Mostly because of how terrible their optimization is for PC is. Like I recall Final Fantasy 16, or no, 7 remake when it came out, it took another 6 months just to optimize it properly. And where in the past PlayStation would get the game early or Nintendo would get the game early. Now we are gonna get them all at the same time, so it's gonna take a lot more time to develop for these games. And I don't think they're gonna come as polished as beforehand. And I'm talking about the PlayStation version or the Nintendo version. And it seems all by all a genuine crap show at Square Enix.
Yeah, I don't. That's what's a lot of the stuff that's been kind of coming out about it. I'm not really sure what exactly they're going to do because, a lot of people are saying a lot of people are reporting it as they're done with exclusives, but what was actually stated was that they would pursue multi-platform with a more aggressive strategy while minimizing
Exactly, man.
quantity in favor of quality. Yeah, that's what they said. So
Yeah.
the
That makes no
reports,
sense though.
I'm well,
No,
no, it does.
Omar, and he is right because I had the same thing. Like they keeps everybody saying, yeah, Square is done with exclusive, but they never said they're done with exclusives. They said we're focusing on the multi-platform strategy. That doesn't mean they're not going to make any more exclusives. All
Exactly.
they're saying is that they're what that could mean, for example, is that they're bringing more of their smaller titles that sometimes skip Xbox or sometimes are Nintendo exclusives to other platforms. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to make these third party AAA deals. Like the thing is like what also was in that report was that they actually their single player games, their AAA premium titles, whatever you want to call it, those actually they were up. They made more money than last year. They're still they're saying yeah no they did meet sales expectations because they that's always what they're saying because they always have too high expectations. But where they lost money was their mobile department and their MMOs, their online games, right? So, and they also said that they had more costs because of higher costs to do advertisement. And I think something regarding their team structure where they don't really share skills across their team and they just have these dedicated teams. So, which probably means that if somebody leaves, then they lose basically the skills that they can't easily replace. But the advertisement thing is not something that I found interesting because uh, what do you get when you make an exclusive deal? For example, PlayStation, you're getting basically free advertisement. They take care of the promotional budget side, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get
That's
free
something that they
advertisement, you get help with
yeah.
the development, and you get a lot of quality control from PlayStation. You're gonna, if you lose that, hey,
So
that's
so
on
so
you.
so if we're going to read that report and draw conclusions from that, just like the people are drawing conclusions that they're no longer doing exclusives when they say we're going to focus on a multi-platform strategy, then I can also say based on that report, I could also conclude that they might be still interested in doing these exclusives when there's a lot of promotional budget involved, when basically there's a lot of budget involved in total for the game because then you need to promote it a lot to make your money back. And then it would be quite interesting to have that, with, for example, with Final Fantasy. And the thing is, like, you don't even know what the current deals are. Like, it doesn't suddenly mean that the remake and rebirth are going to come to Xbox because you don't know what contracts they have with PlayStation. Like with Sony, like if their contract is like, yeah, it can never come to another platform, other console, or you can't release it until we have like all three games are launched on PlayStation, and then you might be able to put it on other platforms. Then that's still going to be a long way off until those games are going to come to Xbox, which is basically the only option they have because let's face it, Switch is not going to run that game at all. But yeah, I don't. At least we have to wait and see in the end. But I don't think you can conclude from that they're done with exclusives. Like there is too much benefit to be gained in terms of reducing costs, especially for advertisement, plus the actual free advertisement you're gonna get. And you have to wonder, like, okay, how much are you actually going to gain? Because okay, look, it's a dead horse at this point, but you know that people don't buy games on the Xbox, and do you want to put it on Game Pass? Like Microsoft is not going to give you the money you want to put that in Game Pass, because that they're cutting costs left and right, like, and they know that their gamers are not necessarily fans of these games, because if they were, they would have probably bought a PlayStation, because if you're a huge Final Fantasy fan, that's of course the platform you're going to buy to get your fix, right? So I don't know if this is going to work out the way that they're expecting it to. But yeah, that's at least my take on it.
No, no,
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. I mean, there's again so much stuff that happens during the course of these deals that people forget. Um, Again, the same thing. As much as I would have preferred to play some of the games that I got initially on my Nintendo Switch, performance wise,
Mhm.
a lot of those games would have never happened. I never want them to even have an inclination of cutting off, an idea of making those deals with Nintendo, because again, they weren't going to fund those games. All those games only ever got funded because of Nintendo. And if it's just, hey, the only thing I wish that they would do with those in particular is just let us know it was coming. That would be the big thing, because
What?
I had gotten, like Live a Live. I got really early before it came to PlayStation. I rather
Oh,
just play it on PlayStation.
I mean, they're not gonna share that information because they want themselves, right?
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter, because I mean, I could just make the decision and not even get it. But um, what I'm saying is, like, I'm saying that's what I'd like. I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do. Whether they do it or not is irrelevant. But I mean, you also have SMT5, of course, coming, and then Front Mission Remake 1, 2, and 3. Again, like, these are a ton of games that never would have come to fruition via Square if Nintendo didn't step in. The original Octopath, launched on there. Bravely Default 2. Like, the list is extensive. So, yeah, I never want to see them, cut off that relationship between, them and making those exclusives or temporary exclusives for them or PlayStation or so on and so forth, when, like you said, they're offsetting, um, the publishing cost entirely with a lot of these, by just, making something, exclusive for a year is really nothing when, you're recouping all of this developmental help and all this other stuff you're getting on top of, whatever money. And like that's another thing. People always think it's always specifically like a cash exchange, like money, like directly exchanged, like we're going to pay you 5 million to make this exclusive, when that's not necessarily the case. Like, a lot of people, again, like you said, forget how expensive something like advertising is. Like, yet we've seen budgets in
We've seen it.
advertising be over $100 million, you know what I mean, just for advertising. And it's like, people think that that's like a joke or something, and it's not. So
We
yeah,
have yet to see it for Hellblade 2. I'm not joking.
I mean,
That's
they
how
barely
they
did
got
that.
Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation in the first place. Was they spent a gaggle on Sony published the game in North America, and let's be honest, there was only a handful of us playing JRPGs in America. When we were kids, there wasn't many of us. And Final Fantasy VII really changed that because of the amount of money that Sony put into the marketing in North America. Like, there'd be a couple 100,000 copies of Final Fantasy 1 and 3 and 6 and stuff. They really pushed it and got it going in the West. JRPGs were like extremely niche. And Sony put like $50 million in marketing, which in the 90s is like more than Spider-Man today. And it took off.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was
And
a massive thing, that initial partnership between them and PlayStation. And again, stuff that people forget, right? I always talk about the history of these companies. Um, like, I always tell people, I was like, how many people, are you still friends with that, you were cool with, in 1995. Like that's how far, their relationship goes back.
Square would have never
You know,
grew if it wasn't for PlayStation, because they wouldn't have had any presence in the West, and there's just not enough of people in the East to support a company that size,
yeah,
But
you definitely need a global presence, and they helped them get that. Which is why Final Fantasy X ultimately, sold the way it did, and so on and so forth. And it's just, yeah, I just think that the whole messaging was misinterpreted. People thinking like everything's gonna be everywhere all at once, all of a sudden, you know, as if they don't have current deals in place, like we mentioned. Like this is way more intricate than this 5 minute, reading of a meeting makes it sound. Like, of course, Xbox people are like, oh, this is it. PlayStation lost a bunch more exclusives. This is it. All their games are coming everywhere day one. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
if anything, really looking at it is with Switch 2 coming out, they can make a hell of a lot more games that can run, even if it's at 1080-30 or whatever, on
Yeah.
Switch, which will give them more sales in the East.
Yeah, and I mean,
More
obviously, like
presence
I
in the
think
East.
I think
Oh,
their multi-platform strategy specifically is Switch Two,
Switch.
Switch
It's
well,
Switch 2.
Switch Two,
Big
yeah,
time.
yeah. Were you gonna say, Morgan? I saw
Big,
you unmuted.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something, Miss Octopath fan and only platinum holder.
I mean, didn't they? I can't remember. Didn't they get rid of that studio, or they moved that studio, or something happened with
So,
that studio?
so,
That
so it's a couple. It's like three studios that actually make it, and apparently, like the primary studio was purchased um from
yeah.
by another company. But the good news is, apparently, because I thought, initially that meant, nail in the coffin, they'll never do it again. Is that studio, when they're not having them make whatever they bought them for, they're not opposed to basically letting them make other stuff. So apparently they were under another company
they'd probably be
prior.
like Team Ninja.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of get loaned out. Like they just, like, if we don't have anything for you to do internally, you can go make another one of those Octopath games, basically.
Oh, you're going to pay for our team and give us a
I'm not
cut?
gonna
All
hold
right,
hope.
cool.
Right?
I'm not
Yeah.
even. I'm just gonna let it come if it comes.
Yeah,
You're going to
yeah.
pay my
I'm not.
employees and give
I'm
me a
not going
cut.
to hope
All
not.
right. I can't lose here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Morgan. As much as I wanna hope. I know they initially bought them because they did want them to work on something, so I know at least for the time being they're tied up. So the main team. So hopefully, but yeah, like you said, ain't no
Yep.
need doing that. But yeah, I think that's really it, Omar. I just don't think it's as crazy as people are making it sound. Again, that's the problem with a lot of the general public.
misinformation.
Well, the general public having access to meetings, earnings meetings and strategy meetings, which is really what these are. Like these
Problem
are,
is
yeah,
people misinterpreting facts the way they want to interpret the facts because they're tired of PlayStation having exclusives and they want them gone. So they saw this
exactly,
and immediately thought, "Oh my
Yeah, they
God,
have no
it's
interest
done."
in the games. They just want to be included in the conversation.
Mind you, they don't really care to play these games. And if they do, they have a PlayStation or they wait for it to come to PC. But it's just another,
They just
let's
want to
say,
take away console war
another
ammo. That's it.
piece
That's all it
of
is.
armor out of Sony's suit. Like, yes, another third party exclusive. They lose. Thank you. Like it just tickles them so much,
yeah,
and that's why people have been misinterpreting the facts.
yeah.
It is what it
Same
is,
thing
though.
with it was the same thing with Sega, all that celebrating and all that. Oh, this is a big get for them, and all 10 people who played, uh Reloaded, Final Persona 3 Reload on Game Pass, etc.
That's why I'm very interested because I know because Sega is very prone to announce their sales and stuff like that. They've they're not private, at least with that kind of stuff. So I'm very interested to see how much Metaphor sells on Xbox. Because they can't use the players metric because they use players or whatever or for Persona 3.
Yeah,
Like we had like 3 million players or something like that, or three. They might have used sales. I don't remember, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see what the sales for Metaphor is, and if the partnership, you want to say, with that Microsoft or Xbox has with Sega has been fruitful, and if they have garnered enough fans for people to actually go out and purchase Metaphor for $70. Doubt it,
Hmm.
but we'll see.
We're gonna see with the prices there, with
Yep.
the sales.
Yeah. But
Okay, I think everyone have given the perspective about it. It's time to move on to the next topic. We should going to be okay. So I wanted to cover something else, but because of do you still have time left?
Sure.
you can skip
30
to a
minutes?
different one if you want Weeb to comment on something.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about different topic, but since
Uh,
we have enough time, let's do another big one. And this is none other than the structure that have been happening on the PlayStation. Well, gone is Jim Ryan. He is out of here. Instead of it, instead of him, we got two people. First one got actually a promotion. Is none other than the person I think that debuted Horizon Zero Dawn. I think he was the one playing it during the debut, which is Herman Holt. He's going to focus on PlayStation Studios. And Herman Holt will be the CEO of PlayStation Studio Business Group, and Hideki Nishino will be CEO of Platform effective June 1. So Herman is a known person. Hideki is someone I have never heard about before. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he's gonna be able to leverage something for PlayStation. I know he's on the platform side of things, but I'm genuinely hoping we might get some Japanese involvement because he is from Japan with like a more Japanese relationship with other publishers and developers. So, what's your thought on Herman getting promotion?
well, congrats to Herman. It's great, great step up. I think what it means is that he's also responsible for that part of the studios that's making the adapting all games into TV shows, movies, and that kind of thing. Because he already was in charge of studios. Yeah, and the other guy I also don't know him, but yeah, that seems to be strict separation between the ecosystem platform, the PSN. I'm not sure if that's gonna result in any close relationship with Japanese developer or anything. I don't think that's necessarily his part of the
I kind of
business.
hope.
Well, I mean it's also not necessarily an issue, I think, because we are sure, we all are always speculating or playing the idea like what if Sony bought a Japanese publisher or developer or started making JRPGs again, but don't necessarily think they have bad relationship with Japanese developers. I mean, they're still bringing their exclusives to the platform. They have, like we just said, a great relationship with Square Enix. I don't think they have bad relationships with other publishers either. So I don't necessarily see. Um, I mean, you can always hope for better, but I'm not necessarily seeing a problem there that needs to be fixed. Um, but yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? So they decided to fill Jim's shoes by two people. I don't think it necessarily means that Jim was his shoes were too big to fill. I think it was just that they probably decided either that it was better to have this separated with two people because it might have been too much for a single person, or they figured that their respective skills were more suited to focus on a particular part of the business, and maybe at some point they'll move one person up to take care of both. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it is probably better to have a focus there. That you have somebody in charge of the studio, someone in charge of developing the next PlayStation, for example. I say Herman is probably a good choice, even though we're probably doing it to keep there because he is a developer. He came from Gorilla, led that, has been doing has now experience running all the studios, and I think it's always better to have somebody doing that who actually knows what he's talking about, and it's not just somebody from corporate who thinks he knows gaming but doesn't really have a clue and then makes ridiculous decisions as we see with a certain other company that shall not be named. But yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Morgan.
Yeah. So we now have uh co-CEO situation going on. My guess would be, I mean, like, we don't know the internal, things that go on in Sony. We can only speculate. But the main reason Jim Ryan said he was leaving was just because he was tired. Like, he was having to go back and forth all the time,
Yeah.
doing so much and traveling, and it was just too much. And I think they took that to heart. And so they decided, in order to not wear out their future CEO, they decided to kind of split the job. Have one
Jim
full
Ryan
focus
averaged
on.
aged 20 years in like 3 years. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot on him. He was just like, you know, he was he was with PlayStation for a long time, or at
He's
Sony at
like
least, and
55. I thought that motherfucker was like 97. I swear to God.
yeah, yeah, this job will definitely age you. Um, but yeah, I think they took that to heart and was just like, all right, we're just gonna kind of separate, uh, duties. Kind of did the office thing where Jim and Michael kind of split co-managers,
Yep,
and
co-managed.
like one was little, yeah, co-managers. One handles the little stuff and the other handles the big picture stuff.
Big picture, day to
And
day. Yeah.
day to day, that kind of split going on. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I think it's a good idea. Like, I honestly think it's a good idea because, like I said, PlayStation, encompasses so much, and it's a big, department for Sony, right? One of their biggest and most fruitful departments. So, you want to take care of it. You want to make sure that every aspect of, PlayStation is being handled correctly and, not through tired and exhausted eyes. So, I think Herman stepping up to be like, leader of the first party and, all that, the studios and development. I think that's a smart move. Like we've said, he came from a studio, head of Guerrilla Teams, headed Horizon, one of our favorite games in this group. Went on to become, the leader of the first party. We were all cool with that. He's done a good job, and now he's, this man's advancing like a motherfucker in this company. I'm sure he's happy about it. Knows PlayStation, who knows what the gamers like.
Yeah.
Be
I
in charge of that.
he is the one that at the end agreed to Horizon. So clearly he
Hmm.
knows something that other companies don't or other people don't. So I'm looking forward to see
Yeah,
how much improvement he's gonna bring to the PlayStation
he
Studios.
yeah, he was one of the key figures that were instrumental in bringing, Kojima over, and sharing the Decima engine and, getting Death Stranding off the ground. And I'm pretty sure it was him that was one of the major pushes as to why we're getting the espionage game that Kojima's gonna work on after Death Stranding
Oh
2.
yeah, him and Kojima are
Um,
always eating together, and they're like best buddies.
yeah,
They're
like
besties.
they're really close. So I'm pretty
I
sure,
mean,
it was partly
when
partially him.
you give a big developer like that your own engine, like that can speak volume.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm more than happy for Herman to take the reins. Excited to see where he goes from here. Uh, what that will lead for PlayStation. We can only hope it leads to good things and the betterment of PlayStation and keeping it long lasting for at least a few more generations before any crazy change happens. But yeah, I'm not upset at this situation. I don't know the other guy that well. I mean, I think they said he's been in Sony for a while. Like he's also been with Sony for like 2 decades, so he's not a new or outside hire or anything like that.
Shout out to them
So
tapping internal teams.
yeah. So we'll see. They both have to report to Hiroki Totoki. Um, and let's see how happy he is when we get the see Sony when we get to see this meeting that they're having at the end of the month about their plans moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see what his future plans are for PlayStation and Sony Corp. So cross my fingers that it is not encompassing a faster PC day to day type situation, but we can only hope.
Agreed.
Okay. I did hear that he is a fan when it comes to PC. Herman.
I mean, you could
So
be a fan, but you could also understand business suicide at the same time. I mean,
I
I
mean,
mean, Herman and like I watched his interview.
All their
I think it
engines
was
are
like
created
a
on
year ago.
PC to begin with, so they all use a PC. It's not like, yeah, it
Yeah.
all starts on
I
a
mean,
PC.
I
So
watched Herman's interview from like a year and a half ago when he was talking about the introduction to PC, and he was very adamant that he knows like the importance of exclusives, and he was adamant that he was going to make sure that PlayStation players, get quality first and foremost, and then move it onto PC. Um, and that, I mean, of course, things can always change, right? Plans can always change, especially when you got the suits telling you, well, we want money now, you know? But at least with him, he seemed to understand the importance of PlayStation games being on PlayStation first, especially when it comes to their single player games that they're known for. Like, he was saying how he understood that those need to be on PlayStation because you want to drive the business onto PlayStation and get people to buy your console. You have to give them a reason to. And the only games that he was like that he saw come into PC first were the live service games. Like PC at the same time was the live service games. So at least when I saw the interview, it made me feel a little bit more comfortable. I was like, all right, okay, so he gets it. But let's see. We'll see. Like I said, plans can change, business models can change in a blink of an eye. We've seen that with Xbox. They
oh
say
yeah,
one thing
they
one month,
change
the next
strategies
month
every couple
they
weeks,
switch up.
man. I swear to
Like, oh,
God.
we do this. Oh wait, no, we're doing this now.
every couple of
So,
days you're being
you
too
know,
generous.
so business always changes. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully PlayStation is well aware that, they have a popular console that sells and that in order to keep that up, they're gonna have to make sure that the console is still um, worth buying in the eyes of the consumer. And I think the main difference too is that unlike Xbox, PlayStation doesn't have like an ecosystem that they can put everywhere, like a Game Pass. So, because they don't sell their consoles, that's kind of what Xbox leans on. It's like, okay, well, we not selling our consoles, but we have these
Yeah, they
subscriptions
don't
that
have
can
that
go
third party
everywhere.
money coming in. They don't sell games. They don't sell
Yeah.
consoles.
And
They don't
so,
sell nothing on their platform. So they have to go to
yeah,
other people's.
yeah. And so because Xbox has that ecosystem, they can kind of take that hit when it comes to not selling consoles. It's like, all right, well, we can, we may not be number one in consoles, but our ecosystem's on PC. It can be on mobile, your tablet, your TV, Xbox, wherever there's a screen, essentially, right? but PlayStation doesn't have that. So if they're not selling their console, and it's just gonna be like, well then what else can they sell? Like they can sell their first party games, but um what the money that they really make is off of PS Plus and that subscription, and that's not on PC or anything like that. So in order to drive people to subscribe to your subscription service of PS Plus, they have to buy the console.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said,
Yeah,
people
only
try to
like
make
a
it a
little
one
over
for
$1 billion
one.
of that $30 billion they make a year is off a fucking first party. Like, let's be
Yeah,
real.
like their main money is off of like the subscriptions
It's less
and
than 10% from the first party.
the third party microtransaction stuff like that. So, people keep trying to make it a one for one, like it makes business sense for them to go day and day in PC. And I'm like, because they try, it's not the same because Xbox has something different. They have a different path and a different way that they make money. So it's
That
people keep
proved
trying
to
to
not
people keep
work.
trying to yeah, people keep trying to make it seem like it's cookie cutter and it's every strategy, it's one size fits all. As we can see, at all three of these platform holders, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, have like a different way that they handle business. PlayStation and Nintendo are very similar, but you know Nintendo still is kind of in its own lane, does its own kind of thing. And Xbox and PlayStation are different. Like they all have their different strategy that they
If
use to
Xbox
try to
had
make it work.
80% of the console sales on their platform, they're worrying about putting their shit everywhere and all that kind of shit. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean Game Pass was a Hail Mary strategy. It wasn't part of the plan, the initial plan for Xbox. It was a last resort because they were losing a customer base. They lost the faith of the customer base with the Xbox One, the launch, and the whole DRM and um, the Connect and everything that happened with that. Yeah, they just lost faith. So the sales were like horrible compared to the PlayStation. The PlayStation was 4 was cheaper. It ran games at 1080p versus 720p on the Xbox, so it was less expensive, ran games better, had the better third-party deals. It was just they were in a bad space, and so they had to do something because the Xbox division was about to get shut down, and that's when Phil came up with the Game Pass idea. So it, so yeah, essentially all like people like I'm just so tired of people trying to make it seem like it's a one size fits all with these companies, like, and it's not as far as their business plans.
Not even close.
PlayStation, people think it's fanboyism when PlayStation players say things like, they have to put the console first. And sure, there's like a hint of that in there, but it's really for the betterment of PlayStation that they put their console first. Because if they do not, it's good. They don't have anything to fall back on. Like that's it. Like so they have to in order to maintain their position in the console market. And and hopefully, I mean, these are people with degrees and years in Sony and they know business, so hopefully they see the same thing too. And they realize, they still have to, keep it that way. Like, I know, I don't, hopefully Helldivers 2 success didn't deter them into like blindly seeing only like dollar signs when it comes to PC, because live service and single player games are
Very
two different
different.
beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you can't pirate Helldivers, right? Like the only way people can play that shit is if they buy it. Ghost of Tsushima got cracked day one. Okay, like
Immediately.
immediately,
As
immediately.
always, as always with this game.
Yeah, I mean it still sold well. Like it was like number 7 on the Steam chart still, but like it like PC gamers are very different from console gamers. Like yeah, they like the AAA, but most of them like that rinky dinky repetitive type shit. Like that's the
Yep.
PC
Gmod,
players
Counter
like bread and
Strike. Yeah.
yeah. That's like PC players bread and butter. And as amazing as Sony's single player games is, I don't think spending the extra money, time, resources, you got to get, more people who know how to develop for
You need
PC.
online games too, because if you ain't checking them, they're just gonna bit torrent that shit. I mean, then look at the single players. There's
Yeah.
only a handful, like Baldur's, the Dungeons and Dragons type shit. The world, well, that's
Mhm.
a gas game. But for single player, you got like the Baldur's Great Gates, the like astronaut type games, like outer space, sci-fi games. They do okay. Other than that, they really don't give a shit unless it's
Yeah.
a online multiplayer MMO or something.
Yeah. And the expenses to get a game day and date on PC, the more people you need, the people who know how to do that, people who know how to make that. I mean, Nexus can't do that for everybody. Okay, they're one studio.
Exactly.
They can't work day and date with every single PlayStation studio because every PlayStation studio's got their own time and their own schedule and their own release time. So they're not gonna be able to hop onto every studio and be like, oh, this one's releasing this time and this okay, we gotta go over here. Like it's doesn't work like that. So that takes more money, more manpower, more people to hire, and then you got to hope that those extra expenses, once you put that port on PlayStation, that it will be worth it. Like it's not only, it not only um, puts them, gives them some revenue, but essentially gets them profit, right? That they want to make more. So you got to weigh the pros and cons of that. Like, yes, it's a bigger pool of people to buy, but it's also more expensive to make that port. It adds more expenses. So, it's up to Sony and PlayStation to kind of weigh the pros and cons and to see if doing that will be worth it in the long run for them. I personally don't think it will. Like I said,
Absolutely not.
like the growth of PlayStation depends on them selling their consoles unless they come up with their own kind of ecosystem or whatever. But yeah, I don't see a profitable PlayStation. Like people are just not gonna you're just essentially telling people don't buy the PS6. Like
Exactly.
that's it. And then they'll see sales go the way of the Xbox, and they better pray to God that people on PC buy their games day
Exactly.
one or whatever,
Now you're putting yourself in a
because
chokehold.
yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
games that you would have gotten 100% profit on if they had bought it on the PlayStation Store, or
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is they probably get, if they like, well, we're going to sell about 10 million. Yeah, you'll still sell 10 million, but you're going to be like, well, 3 million bought it on PC and 7 bought it on PlayStation, so
yeah,
we got less money,
Yeah, so
and
that's
nobody's
what.
yeah.
buying our third party sales are down 25%. Why?
Yeah, that's what
You know,
C-Fresh was
Steven got to take
mentioning. Yeah, the quality splits is what that's called. I realize now. I used to call it like transitioning sales or something. But basically, if you have, like you said, if you still sell 10 million, but you would have sold 10 million on console, means you would have got 100% of those sales, so on and so forth. But
Mhm.
now,
yeah, if you sell 3 million on PC, it's like selling 2 million on PlayStation.
yeah, you're only getting a percentage of that, and it's
Basically,
like,
you basically donated one of those millions from that 3 million.
yeah, not to mention if
So.
there's microtransactions from it, you get less from that as well, because now the
Mhm.
microtransactions are happening on there, and like Morgan mentioned earlier, the services and microtransactions are always the highest revenue for PlayStation,
Yeah,
which it
that's like,
consists of that.
you need to have a ecosystem, which
Yeah,
for PlayStation is the console, in order
is the
to
console.
recoup that.
Exactly.
So they're gonna lose that. They're gonna lose those major third party transactions, like Call of Duty. Still, even though it's owned by Microsoft, that's still a major get for
Yeah, the
PlayStation, because
revenue split is
I
still
don't,
It's
the
I don't
free
same.
money
care
too.
what
They don't
people
have to put
say.
nothing into it. Even if it's a failing
Yeah,
game, they still make money off of it.
yeah, because I don't care
Don't
what people
matter.
say about, Microsoft owns it and they have the marketing now. Listen, more people are still gonna play Call of Duty on PlayStation. It is what it is. Like they've associated themselves with Call of Duty for too long now, and most people who play these kind of games already have their console picked out. They're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna sell my PlayStation and play it on Xbox because their friends play it wherever. It is what it is now, essentially, and that's
Hmm.
still a big money getter for PlayStation. And then that 30, they get that 30%, and they get the part of the money from all the
Microtransactions,
microtransactions and shit people buy
which is
in that damn
huge.
game. Yeah. So you do away or you harm the sales of your console, that's more money from those that you're losing.
Exactly.
So in order for PlayStation to remain healthy and to grow, like sure, I think the idea to put games on PC later, I think it's a good idea. That's, those games at that point, the sales have died down. People who wanted to play it essentially played it, and
Yeah,
now you can
they've reached
recoup
market
even
saturation.
more. Yeah, exactly.
I think they'll
And you can
start
recoup
coming
more now.
faster because, once they start getting caught up, because doing this from behind, they have games from PS4, games from PS5. They're trying to mix and match and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But once they get caught up, I don't think they'll be contracting as much out, and it'll basically be Nixies doing everything but they don't have to.
Yeah,
I mean, PlayStation. You got to remember that PlayStation releases like
Don't
a.
have as many
developer
options to choose
studio
from.
Oh, it kind of
in
cut
Two
out there.
games
PlayStation
come
because it's gonna
out
be a lot of
in
games.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they'll always be busy, but it'll be like, okay, you're done with this one. This one's the next in line. Whether it's been 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 20. It all depends on how
I
fast
don't
Sony
think
has their
anything
releases.
will come out sooner than 18 months. I think 18 months is the bare minimum. That's what they've done so
Mhm.
far. The bare minimum. I think anything shorter than that is reaching more dangerous territory. A
Yeah, I think
year,
that's gonna be put more pressure on the actual studio
yeah,
if
it's more
it's
pressure.
shorter than.
And make no mistake, I know a lot of PC people think they want stuff sooner. They don't, because a lot of them don't want to pay for DLC and all this other stuff. They like getting the complete edition with DLSS and ray tracing and all this other stuff.
75% off.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So, yeah, no, it's like on one end they're complaining, but the reality is the fans of these games maintaining that 18 months to 2 year plus mark is perfect. It leaves people hungry enough for your system, its capabilities, and the people who are really fans and really want to play those games will. Just like we talked about with Grand
Mhm.
Theft Auto 6 coming up, Morgan. We talked about that heavily. That's got tons of people are
Yep.
now waiting for that. That's going to create a mass transition, for the rest of the consoles, and PlayStation is going to soar, to the 100 million mark by 2025. You know,
Yeah, and they came out with the article that said like a lot of PlayStation players are still on PS4.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's essentially like because this generation has been slower than a lot of generations, especially due because of
That and the
the
economics are
pandemic
so
and
bad. It's
everything.
hard to drop prices when the inflation rate's going up higher
Yeah,
than.
the pandemic really fucked the
Yep.
economy really
The
up. Like,
pandemic went
The
crazy.
economy's
and
horrible,
because of
dude. The
that,
economy, inflation is going up 3 times faster than normal. So whatever cost saving you have is basically just keeping up with inflation and not being able to lower the price on a product. You're just trying to keep it
You're
yeah,
trying to
because
keep
at
it
the
the
same
stable.
cost.
PS5,
Yeah,
the thing is, the PS5 it still hasn't gone down in price. Like, I mean, sure, you can pick
that's
one
what
up
I'm
for maybe
saying.
like
That's why though.
450. Yeah, you could pick one up for like 450, but it's still pretty much the same price. Unlike now during the PS4 generation, you could have picked up your PS4 for like 100, maybe $150 cheaper than launch price. So because of this, a lot of people are still on the last generation. And like you said, Nelson, like I don't know when that price of the PS5 is gonna go down or if it's ever gonna go down.
It
Um,
won't. It won't. It won't go down until the inflation rate goes
yeah.
down. That's just.
And I don't know because that's going to
It's hard to even
affect
keep it
them
at the same
getting.
cost because instead of being
Yeah,
at 3 to 4%, it's been like 10 to 15% every year. Like that's just sickening.
yeah. I don't know if it's the longer it takes for that price to come down, the longer it's going to take for PlayStation to get where they were at PS4. I mean, they're right there where at PS4 they're like they're behind like I think what was it 200,000 consoles or something. It was real close,
It's super
but it's
close.
still like imagine if it was lower in price. Like
Under
imagine
normal
if it was.
economic standards or the normal economic rate and shit like that is normal, and they would have been able to lower the price, and inflation wasn't going up so high, they would have far surpassed PS4.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if it was like, discounted the way PS4 was during this time. The sales of the PS5 would have been insurmountable to the PS4. Like they would have been so far ahead. But because
People
of
just had more
that
money
500.
too, disposable money. I mean, it's
Yeah.
bills are fucking out of control right now. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
everything is fucking out of control, to be honest. Like, and because of that, PlayStation, is behind, and I don't know. I think GTA 6 will be that thing to finally get a lot of the people who are still stuck on PS4 to switch. GTA 5 usually is a kind of a gaming community reset in a lot of ways. Like whenever a GTA or whenever a Rockstar AAA game, whether it's the Red Dead 2 or GTA 5 or now GTA 6, it's kind of like a gaming reset. Like everybody just hops on, and that whole talk of the death of AAA just kind of goes out the window when
Yep.
when GTA when Rockstar launches the game. So I think and with PlayStation going to have the best way to play GTA 6 if it ends up launching before you know GTA 6 launches, which will be the PS5 Pro. I think PlayStation will be in a really good position, and I think that'll be the thing that will increase its sales in a good way. It's going to be the best place to play the game for at least a year until the
At
PC
least a
port
year.
launches. So I think that'll put PlayStation in a good position, and I think they'll essentially be caught up, if not surpassing the PS4 by that time. Because the PS4 didn't have, well, the PS4 had Red Dead 2, but it didn't have GTA 5 because GTA 5 was the PS3. But yeah, I think it'll put them in a good position. And yeah, like I said, sorry, I've been rambling, but
No,
but yeah,
maybe
essentially,
No,
you,
but
I'm
these things are
Nelson,
all a
and Nate
factor.
holding it down. If you're holding it
yeah,
down, you're holding it down.
but I'm done. I'm sorry because I know we just gotta get up
No,
a little bit. So
don't be sorry. Be great. Be great.
No, that was brilliantly said. I mean, because
That was
it's
absolutely
a it's a
brilliantly
it's a
said.
robust topic. It requires a lot of thought, and there's a lot
There's a
going
lot of
into
things
all
Nuance.
going
this.
on economically in the world today. It's just
hmm
And
which is why I'm so
all
curious.
of you had a
Go ahead.
fantastic conversation about it.
Yeah.
And Nate, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I mean, like I said, Morgan pretty much, you know,
Nailed it, eh?
yeah, nailed it. I mean, like I said, all the economics, all the things going on. Like I said, really just making sure that the two CEOs pay attention. Like I said, I know Herman's been doing a great job so far in his position. So it's really just to see kind of what this. I know he's not new per se to PlayStation, but
hmm
really to see what he's going to do in this position. I do agree that you said it wasn't too big to fill for Jim. I just think, I mean, when you look at the list of things that they're responsible for, it to me it just makes sense to split those because essentially you're splitting your attention, and the way that they
hmm
split it now, hey, you get to focus entirely on this and you get to focus entirely on this. Now, if you guys need to communicate, you guys come together and you guys have a better, fuller picture about what's going on in your own thing.
I'm curious. Is somebody gonna replace his old job, or is he doing his old job now with new responsibilities?
Yeah, whatever he
Because he's
did.
still in charge of first party, essentially. Because that's what he was. He was like the head of PlayStation Studios before this promotion. So now he's the head of PlayStation Studios plus the other IPs plus media, movies, stuff like that. Like so is
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
if there's going to be
interested.
another head of PlayStation or if he's
So
just
I don't think
he's in
so.
that
I think they modified his position to basically be a promotion with more
encompass more.
responsibilities. Yeah, but
Yeah.
also split the other stuff away from him as far as like I said, the things that they said the other guy would have was specific to the console's hardware, the technology, accessories, PlayStation Network, and third party relations. So stuff like Stellar
hmm
Blade, so on and so forth. Like that would all be under him. And obviously the
Yeah.
other people who are there to
I mean,
assist
if
them,
that's
like
the case,
Yoshida.
making deals
where
for marketing and stuff with other games too.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
yes. So if that's the case where it's kind of his old job with more responsibilities, it makes sense why they split the position because if they're not going to fill his old position and he has his old position plus new responsibilities, and then it makes sense that they would give, okay, that's going to be too much for you to do all of that, your old position, the CEO, and what I'm saying? So it makes sense why they split it. They didn't
Exactly.
have like, okay, because we're gonna need you to still keep your old job, but you're gonna have title of CEO now or and more responsibilities. But we're also gonna have somebody take half of the responsibilities too, so it's not too much for you. But yeah,
Exactly.
I think it's just going to be very important for PlayStation fans to watch the Sony conference at the end of the month because I think that's going to give out a lot of information about the future plans of PlayStation and what they consider important, right? We're going to see if they still consider the console important or if they're going to be like, all right, let's move to PC and further our relationship with that platform. So I'm going to be definitely watching that with the
Play
magnifying glass.
Xbox on your Surface Pro.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think we all agree it's pretty much looking like a good move so far. We just
yeah,
we just want to see the results. And
Yeah,
I
we're
mean that's
watching you, Herman.
yeah, we're watching. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation fans always watching. We're
Yeah,
always
like
staying
I
on.
ain't about to, I ain't about to stand you like the Phil Spencer stands. Like you got a job to do and you better do
not
it correctly. That's all I got to say.
not only we're watching, we give accurate critiques. Like we're not gonna we're gonna take it and shut up about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But shout out to Morgan. She held it down. And
Oh,
Nelson
my
did
bad.
his thing. I said shout out to you. I didn't say you talk too much. I'm actually
Appreciate it.
enjoying the conversation. That's how it should be. But moving on to the next topic. Hey, we still have Weeb here. This one is okay. It frustrates me on so many levels. So, news came out that Ninja Theory Studio had said when they revealed Hellblade 2 at the Game of the Year Award 2019, they had nothing of the game apart from that trailer.
Sounds like State of Decay.
That sounds like
Mhm.
the common theme in Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of cements what I said last week about
I
Xbox basically rushing with
We're starting a gen. What do
their
we
They
have? We
were
don't have
hold
shit.
up,
Throw some
hold up,
shit out there then.
their
hold up.
showcase.
I need to understand something. They
Hmm.
were the ones that launched that kickstarted next gen.
Hmm.
Yeah, but they didn't have anything.
So why kickstart next gen if you are not ready for next gen?
What they wanted to do was put themselves in a position ahead of PlayStation, like kind of like what they're trying to do. What they're Remember now they said that they're rumored to start next generation, the next one after this one, early to try to get a lead ahead of PlayStation. But that's essentially they were trying to like, oh hey, okay, like here's our next console, guys, like jump aboard. And I told you guys last week, I was like, you notice how the showcase, that they showed half of those games, if not like 80% of those games, from the first showcase back in November 2020, none of them are ready, right? I told you they had to put something together to entice Xbox players and people who don't have an Xbox to come to the ecosystem saying, yes, or, we don't have any games for you guys, some new games for you guys on the launch, but look at this library of games that you're going to have if you jump into the Xbox ecosystem. You'll be able to play Hellblade, Fable, Perfect
Mm,
Dark,
State of
all State
They
of
Decay
put the
coming.
Decay,
majority of
all of these
their
games.
whole generation out day one. Like
This,
Yep.
and I
this
said
is
that. I
all the
said I
shit we
was
got
like,
planned for the next
yeah,
decade. Like
yeah. I was like, yeah, because I guess that they put this together because they didn't have anything, and then Ninja Theory basically confirmed it, like, oh yeah, that we didn't have anything. Yes, because Xbox essentially went to all their studios and was just like, we need you guys to put something together so that we can entice people to buy our Xbox, to buy our console. Like we don't have anything ready to launch, but we need to give them some kind of incentive to go out and spend $500 or $300 if you get the Series S and buy our product and then hopefully subscribe to Game Pass. So they put that whole showcase together. They showed State of Decay 3, which is not going to look anything like that fucking trailer because that was definitely a CGI trailer. Um,
they
you
all
know,
are.
yeah, all everything that we saw, it was that's why Everwild, when they had the interview after the showcase, they were like, yeah, we don't even know what this game is. Like, oh, we had to we had to go back in to the storyboard and rewrite this game because that
That
who
was
knows
that
what
was
that trailer
crazy.
was.
That was
Yeah,
crazy. PlayStation would have been
who knows
crucified for
where that
that.
trailer came from.
Mm.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we don't even know what this game is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, Xbox went
Yeah,
to every one of their
what kind of combat
studios.
does it have? What kind is it an RPG or we
Yeah,
I don't know.
watch.
Oh, but
Everwild gonna
they
come out
We
and
just
not look
got bitch.
nothing
We just
like
got
that
art.
shit.
We just
yeah
got art. We got
That shit
drawings.
gonna
That's
be
it.
it's gonna be a space game or some shit. Like
yeah.
it's just gonna be something completely different than what we saw because they, like I said, they essentially went to every studio and like basically begged them to put out, like they were like, the studio's probably like, we don't have anything. Well, they were just like, make something, just make anything, plaster a name on it and send it to us so we can put it up on the showcase because we need something. We're in
We
a
need
bad position
something.
right now. We don't have any games ready for these people, so we have to show them something or we're not going to sell any motherfucking consoles. And so that's what they did. They had all these studios make these fucking trailers with games not ready, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not
Like I
even
said,
started. Most of them.
80% of these games aren't even out yet that they showed. So it's just like like I said, once again, Xbox continuously puts themselves in a bad position, Hail Mary position where they're desperate and they have to do stuff last fucking minute. So it's not really surprising that I don't even blame Ninja Theory for that. They're a small studio, and it was probably Xbox that went up to them like, we understand, we know that your game's going to be amazing, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be probably the best looking game, one of the best looking games of the generation, but we need to show that off. And they were like, well, we don't have anything ready. Well, can you just like put like a 5-second little snippet together for us to show Sinua's face and like the detail and the sweat, just something, and just send it to us, please? And they were like, I mean, okay, we'll do something. And so that's what it was, and that's why it's taken so long for Hellblade 2 to come out, because they ain't have nothing. Yeah, shit wasn't ready. I thought that was gonna be a launch title. Everybody thought it was gonna be a launch title, and it's finally to the point.
Like, that's how you start.
Yeah, I thought it'd be early 2021. That was.
I saw that shit. I was like, oh, that looks fire. I was like, oh, they bought Ninja Theory. Oh, damn. Okay, well.
Oh yeah, Xbox dudes were talking cash money after that show. Y'all ain't even ready. Everwild's about to go crazy. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Ninja Theory. Let's start with Ninja
Obsidian
Theory,
was the best because at least they kind of came out and admitted they're like, Outer Worlds 2, all we have is a title.
Yeah. So
that shit was hilarious.
Where is advertisement for Ninja Theory?
It started like 3 days ago. You didn't see it?
No, I haven't seen a single thing.
Oh god.
I follow Xbox Dude. It's not like I don't follow Xbox Dude.
I'm gonna tell you where it is. So when Morgan asked this question about a week ago, somebody told her to go to Xbox.com if you want to see the advertising.
I said, sir, like Xbox. I have to. You're saying that I have to go out of my way to find the advertisement. That's what you're telling me, sir. The ads should be coming to me. I shouldn't have to go to the ad.
Yeah, like when PlayStation launches like Stellar Blade, I am sick and tired of the amount of Stellar Blade that I've seen. Like I just want to play the game. I don't want to see anything. Like till today, I still see Stellar Blade video gameplay. Not only from random people I follow. Heck, a few weeks ago from PlayStation themselves.
Yeah,
The official website of the official Twitter account of PlayStation is actually showing us gameplay. And I'm gonna go on the limb and say their own gameplay, I think. Not someone else gameplay. Like, that's how you know a game is being advertised well. Like, it shouldn't Xbox Studio show a clip of, look what Hellblade 2 gameplay is all about? Something? Show something?
They do that, and I guess half the game is already shown, so I guess they can't. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I've been asking for gameplay, but I think what the reality is they don't really want to show us is because in reality it's not that different from the first game. Like, they've added some flair to the gameplay.
I'm gonna be so fucking vindicated, I can't wait.
Oh man, like I feel like they've added some extra to it, a little flair here and there with the gameplay, maybe a little bit more swinging, some more animations. But I think at the end of the day, it's still gonna be the same. Like I think it's still gonna be samey. Like it's not gonna be different enough for me to be like, oh man, that's completely different from the first one. I think it's just gonna be.
It'll probably be more visceral and gory and shit. Yeah, it's not gonna be like, oh, this shit is fire. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a night and day type of change. Exactly. But yeah. Essentially, it's funny enough. Ever since I've been asking for ads, I think that's why my phone's listening, because on Twitter when I'm scrolling, you know how there'll be ads. It'll like sometimes I'll see, it'll say ad beside it, and it's Xbox advertising Hellblade 2, like counting down the days till Hellblade 2, and be like some screenshots or something. And I'm like, okay, so this is the most ads I'm gonna get on this game, I guess. It's that, like, Like I said, I think they are fully aware that this isn't going to be a massive seller for them,
It's gonna
and
be Alan
uh,
Wake. The Alan Wake of 2024.
yeah, I think that's a really good comparison. I think that's definitely going to be because Alan Wake, good
Critically
game, but it's
acclaimed,
just
a lot of
yeah, but
awards
not
and
the
all that
commercial
shit like that.
success. Exactly.
Critical darling. Nobody bought or played the shit.
Exactly.
Yep.
I think that's a really good comparison. Unique, kind of, dark, scary undertones, but thriller.
Death. Well, like Deathloop 2022. Like, actually, nobody liked that game except critics. But
I don't know how the hell I
I
don't even want to talk
don't.
about Deathloop
I
because
still don't understand
I
that
that
still
game
game.
don't
sucked.
understand. I
But
don't
that's all
understand how it
Arcane's
got.
game. Everyone always says, "Oh, Arcane don't miss." It's like you're looking at the Metacritic. Did you play the game? No. Why? I didn't like it. Well, no shit. Neither did anybody.
Yeah, I still don't
You know,
understand that one.
Arcane games always. I don't know good. They have a very small subset of fans, but I mean, they sell like shit for a reason. They ain't sold since Dishonored 1. I'm not even saying that. That's
Yeah,
just the way it
and
is.
I just think they realize putting that much money in Hellblade advertising they
You're
won't
not
get
gonna
that
get
money
that money
back,
back.
essentially. Yeah, exactly. So it's like we could put millions into the ads, but we're not gonna sell the millions it takes to recoup the loss for advertising for this game. So I think that's why they waited till the week of to market it, and now they're kind of doing their quote unquote marketing push. I hardly see it, like I said, but I guess some people I've seen some people say they've seen it on YouTube. To be fair, I pay so that I don't get ads on YouTube, so I can't say they're lying because I don't get ads on YouTube. But um, people are saying they've seen that and they've seen it on like I heard one person say they saw it on Amazon Prime, another platform for which I pay for no ads, so I can't confirm or deny that. But yeah, it's sad. I just don't want Ninja Theory to go the way of, you know, um, you know, fucking oh my God. Now I'm just losing Hi-Fi Rush team. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Tango.
Tango.
Yeah, Tango, thank you. It's it almost feels like they're setting it up for failure, but it's just I don't know, because like again, I expect it to be a critical success. I expect it to at least get like a 87, 88 for this game.
Yeah, I
But
could say 80
and
something.
to get I expect it to get awards in like its music and its, in the visuals, obviously, and the real artsy kind of awards for it, in the game of the year and in BAFTA and stuff like that. But, as we've seen before, that's not enough for the Xbox team. They expect games
Alan
to,
Wake 2 got an 89. It'll probably be very similar.
yeah,
Nobody
they
talked about that game.
expect it to, I guess the most important metric is for it to move Game Pass numbers to increase the subscription count.
That's not gonna
And
happen either.
I think it'll get some, but not the number that they're hoping for. And I just really hope this doesn't affect them and cause them to close down the studio. I'm sure people at Ninja Theory have, ever since the Tango news broke out and people were like, well, shit, what about Ninja Theory? What about Double Fine? What about, um,
Well,
all
they
those
have already
compulsion or
brushed
whatever.
the
I know they're
resume, I'm
sitting there
sure.
thinking like, oh shit. Well,
Yeah,
I hope our game does well enough for Xbox,
The only
and
thing I think might help them a lot is because of how much money, because they built them a new studio and a new mocap studio. So they're like, fuck, we
but who
invested too
knows?
much
They'll
in them. We
probably
might have
just
to
give
close
that to
somebody
somebody
else.
else.
Yeah, I know, but who's close? You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody close to
Yeah,
them.
that's true. That's true. Um, but it's just because, like I said, this game, obviously, even though it's only a 7 to 9 hour experience, whatever, um, we can tell it costs a lot of money to make. Like, it's the latest tech. Like Nelson said,
Yeah.
they got the new mocap studio. They've been flying them in and out
The
of
new studio, they
Ireland.
bought them a new
Quantity,
studio
it
too.
feels
That was probably
quantity
$100
over
million.
it,
Probably
it
got a couple $100 million in them.
it feels quantity over quality. What I mean by that is you're gonna get the visuals but not gonna get the gameplay aspect of
like
it.
substance is a
Yep.
better phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I I don't know. I don't.
Well, no, you
I
were a
can only
fan.
hope
You
for
were
the
a
best
fan
when
of
it
the
comes to this.
original, and you wanted nothing but the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
But it, it just seems like every time you were
I was
excited for something they said, they kind of retracted it or kind of went back on how big they were going. And when you were like, oh, they got a new combat director, and then the itty bitty
Mm,
bit we've seen, it's looking real samey. And
it
it's like,
look
yeah.
like really the same. Also, what's up with Morgan? You're supposed to be the biggest fangirl, and you're
hey,
rocking
keep it,
that
just keeping it real.
anti. Like you're supposed to go all out, deck yourself with Hellblade 2 merch, Hellblade 2
Oh man.
Xbox skin, anything. Like you're so tame.
I mean, she
It's
was
almost
ready,
No,
like
I
but
mean
they
I'm
set
it
her up.
don't
excited.
even exist.
I'm just worried about the future of the studio. I'm just like, it'll all be for nothing if
But
they end
it's
up closing down Ninja
crazy that
Theory.
you're worried about the future of the studio and you're not even like, how do I say this? You're correct me if I'm wrong. You seem to be
Mhm.
more worried about the future of the studio instead of actually exciting to play the game.
Well, yeah, but it sucks,
No,
right?
I'm still excited to
It's
play the
like
game.
imagine being excited to open your gifts on Christmas, but you know a tradition in your family
After
was
two
that
weeks, they take it away.
yeah, yeah, like or you get a whooping every time you open a present. So you're like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, wait, I'm excited to open these presents, but I don't want the negative part that comes after. This kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to launch the game, be celebrating with champagne, and then hear, yo, open up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean,
Like I'm not too. Yeah, and I know I've seen some people, kind of like scratching their heads at the news that the embargo lifts like an hour before the
that
game
We
was
don't
drops.
talk
crazy.
I'm
about
not.
that. We don't
Yeah,
talk
I'm not too
about
worried
that.
about that.
I am actually okay. So it's not like I'm not too worried. My issue is they are the ones that
I
have
think that's
yet.
more about.
They are
Go ahead.
the ones that they have yet to show gameplay for it. So how are people going to be excited about it?
I
Watch.
mean, I don't really get excited over Metacritic, but I think the reason they're doing it is more to avoid spoilers. It's such a short game that I think they don't want
No,
that like a lot of the stuff out there because shit, niggas will just ruin the plot. It'll be over. They'll be like, okay, this is what happened. Bye. And you're just like, well, shit. I think it's just more to prevent spoilers because from all the people who've played the early, gotten early impressions, everybody's been positive about it, so they really love the game. So I'm not really worried about the actual game itself being bad. I think it's more just them trying to prevent spoilers from being because somebody that got a review code is gonna spoil some shit because they always do.
Yeah,
Like
they do.
I don't expect like the big journalists to do it, but like the little people that they give it to, they always say something. So I think in order to prevent somebody from leaking the story plot and the ending for the game, from especially a game this short with this linear of a narrative, they're just making sure that people don't spoil it. So they're just gonna drop it an hour before.
I feel that. Yeah, well said, Morgan.
Not the clapping,
oh, this dude is making use of his sound voice. Okay. Um, let me see. I wanna check if he's still. Wait, are you here or did you forget to log out and you're gone? Cause he is on mute. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he might be
yeah,
gone.
he is up.
Oh.
Okay, we lost the other nation through.
Oh man.
Emotional damage.
Okay,
That's my favorite. I
that
love that one.
was
That's the best
that was
one.
random, but I take it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
uh maybe I need to just know what's the name of one character.
Something
What
specific.
do you guys know the name of the Assassin's Creed Shadow Lady?
No.
Nomi
Um,
or
yeah, it's like Nomi or something.
Nomi. So I wanted to say that because apparently Ubisoft created the most stealthiest assassin ever. She is so stealthy, people don't even realize she exists.
I see what
I
you
saw
did
that
there.
tweet.
People are
Right.
so
Oh, there goes
people
Weeb. Hey.
people are so fixated on Yasuke. They
Omar,
genuinely.
Omar, Omar. Yeah,
Hey, hey,
it's Yasuke. Come on.
Yasuke. I thought Yasuke was okay. Oh,
What?
Yasuke like Sasuke. I see.
Jesus Christ! What kind of amateur weeb are you?
Oh man, now this is an anime
So
expert over here. This is crazy.
yes, no, if he's desperate, he's desperate. I don't mind. Yasuke. So people is so fixated on Yasuke, they not forgot, they don't even realize Nomi is literally a main character as well.
They are. But the problem is she's a
No, no,
woman.
no, no. They absolutely don't see it. I refuse to believe they see it.
They don't see
No,
it because they don't want to see it. That's the
They don't want
problem.
to see
They
it.
no,
they
no. They see it, but then the other ugly head will rear that they're actually quite sexist as well because they would just want to play
Mhm.
as a straight white male. That's it, and anything else
Yeah.
is even if there was a Japanese male character, they would probably call it woke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Like you have Japanese people breaking
Yeah. She
down
she
and
doesn't
they're like,
count as a Japanese character apparently.
don't count.
Yeah, I've
This
seen that
is
a lot. Like
like
where
that.
people are like they've changed it and didn't bring any Japanese characters and stuff like that. I'm like, we
I'm
just
like,
acting
she's
like
right
she not
there,
right
and then
there.
these
Yeah.
dumbass motherfuckers are saying, "Oh, well, that's a minor character." I'm like, y'all,
How the
you can
fuck is it
play
a minor
Ubisoft.
character?
They think
Go ahead.
they think it's one of the minor characters that Ubisoft does sometimes, but Ubisoft has clarified that you can play as either one of these characters at any point in the game, right? You can play through the entire game as her if you want to. Like and like the only switch when there's like, the intimate
Mandatory
stories
stuff.
that each of them have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. Like if you wanted to, you could play her the entire game. Then they dismiss her and be like, "Oh man, I mean, you just don't want to play as a woman. Just say that. Just say that." Which is weird because most of these dudes will say that, but then whenever they have a chance to make a woman in an RPG, they're the first ones to make female characters. So I'm like, what is y'all's real problem? I don't get it. But I,
Oh,
I
Um,
don't know.
I get it
racism.
exactly.
Like I can't think
Sure.
of anything else but racism.
Suddenly all they care about historical accuracy after playing every
What
game in
is
this franchise
what is
featuring Atlanteans, uh, golden apples that can control minds, the conspiracy between Templar and assassins that spans across
Yo,
entire human
you
history,
know.
mythological monsters in the last game. I mean,
Facts.
what
historical
Facts.
what
I'm
accuracy.
like,
historical accuracy?
Yeah, I mean, because
And
Cerberus was definitely real.
Yeah,
uh, uh,
service.
And the,
Dude,
the funny
oh
and the
man.
absolute absurdity is this, I think this is the first one to actually have an historical character that you can play as because Yasuke
And
actually
now,
existed.
yeah, and now they have an issue.
Yeah, yeah, and then they're changing the goalpost. Like, yeah, he wasn't really a samurai. Like I've seen actually there people have edited Wikipedia because they have
Oh
added a
yeah.
line. Yeah,
yeah,
It's
that
gotten
Yasuke
that.
became
wasn't
an
actually a samurai. Like yeah,
Wikipedia word.
And of course, as we all know,
Word.
Wikipedia is 100% accurate at all times.
exactly.
Like I was literally
Yo,
right like a dragon mount in Assassin's Creed Mirage. But we're sitting here,
I,
we're sitting here worried about a story. He was like, okay, let's put the bullshit aside. Regardless of whether or not this man was a samurai or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, because
thank
Ubisoft has
you.
made him one. It don't matter if he was one or not. Like it's a creative decision. Like again, like we've said, nothing has ever been 100% historical accurate in fucking Assassin's Creed. Why are we all of a sudden historians and we're like, oh, actually, I've went
That's
to the
actually the
Harvard
strangest
Library
part
and
is they're
deduced
actually using a real
that
character. Normally, there's
yeah,
sub characters that are real, but the actual one of the
exactly.
protagonists, they're never
The
real.
main protagonist is usually not real, and this is based on a real person. But all of a sudden, like they're Harvard professors, and they're like, well, I went to the Harvard Library, and then I deduced that, he's not an actual samurai. Actually, he was a mail boy, and I'm like, who gives a shit? Well, y'all just all the only reason exactly that they give a shit now and they claim to care and oh, it's about accuracy and you just don't want to play as a black man. Just say that. Just say
I
that.
I'm
Just
I'm
make
pre-
it.
I'm pretty sure those historical battles that Ezio and non-existing historical character fought did not happen with Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine.
I'm about to
Right.
say, we was using Leo's flying machine, because that's very accurate. People were out there just using that shit flying across the city all damn day. Um, you know, again, I keep saying these people aren't really Assassin's Creed fans. What they are is they're bandwagon, they're bandwagoners. They hop on the bandwagon whenever some, quote unquote woke bullshit happens, right? And they want to be a part of the conversation and be like, let's be anti D, DEI or whatever, and
Yeah.
anti all these
Yeah.
politics that these gamers or devs are trying to put into our game and blah blah blah. And like when do we all of a sudden, care about this type of shit? When did the conversation go from whether the game is just actually good or not? Like that should be the point of contention. Ubisoft is distracting y'all from the fact that they've charging y'all $120 for the final edition.
Shit, 130.
Like y'all, exactly. Y'all are so focused on this bullshit that y'all don't even realize that the full fucking game is 130 plus extra shit that you still have to pay for if you want to get the full experience. And y'all are too busy focused on the characters and how they look, and we don't even know whether this game is gonna be good. Like this is Ubisoft, okay? This is gonna be we over here arguing probably over a mid fucking game. All right, like I'm having hope because as an Assassin's Creed fan, I've been wanting to go to Japan since forever, since the inception of Assassin's Creed, and they finally gave it to us after the success of Ghost of Tsushima. I like to point out,
Yep.
Because let's not pretend like that's not why they're doing this.
That's exactly why they're doing
Um,
it.
and yeah, and I think the fact that they are using Yasuke, I think that is probably them trying to separate themselves from Ghost a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
Exactly.
because they don't want to do a one for one. Like, oh man, because people are gonna compare us to Ghost of Tsushima. So let's switch it up a little bit. Two characters, one woman, one black man. We kind of separate ourselves from Ghost of Tsushima a little bit. Like, let's look at the real, okay?
Yeah,
Like, that's what's really going on.
but
Where
but
is
for
the
me,
But
but for me,
gameplay?
this actually makes it more interesting because I've lost
mhm,
interest in Assassin's Creed since
same,
Unity,
same.
I
and
wanna,
and now
Hey, me
this,
too.
this
I
actually makes
wanna
me
see.
interested in playing this game because if they had just used like they did with Valhalla, that you just had the same character but you could choose a male and female version and they were both like generic Japanese
Yeah,
samurai whatever, like wouldn't be very interesting. This is interesting, and yeah, it's an historical character which it doesn't matter, but it matters in this sense that is actually it's perfect because we
yeah.
know this character existed. This character was deeply involved with some of the most famous characters in Japanese history, like Oda Nobunaga. And
Yeah,
we
this is the
know a
start
lot.
of the unification of Japan. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, don't know a lot about him. Like, we don't know what happened to him after Oda Nobunaga died. Sorry, spoilers, if
I
you
can
didn't
tell
know
you
that.
pretty much that yeah, when what's his name, Yoshida, the second unifier, they probably killed him because he served Oda more than likely. But
Well,
obviously
we
there was no
we,
stories
we
after him.
No,
But
apparently he got released and then disappeared.
yeah,
Dun,
that
dun,
okay,
dun.
Omar, but that's what we said. We don't know what happened to him, so that's perfect for an Assassin's Creed story because you can make
Yeah,
shit
they can
up,
make their own. Hmm.
and
So
it's
what you're
so and it so
telling
works.
me is you don't need to be historically accurate in order to enjoy an Assassin's Creed game?
Now you actually have to have a doctorate in
Mhm.
feudal
but
Japan
but
history
but
in
if
order to enjoy it.
but if any character that you play in Assassin's Creed game, this might be the most historical accurate because A existed and you can actually fill in gaps, right? There are no, his history is not detailed enough to create inconsistencies as
Yeah,
they've done with other
there's only
historical
a few
characters
things you
that you
can put
didn't
in a
play.
story, and everything else you can make up, and
Uh,
it wouldn't be wrong.
yeah,
Hmm.
and this whole samurai shit, like it doesn't fucking matter if he's a samurai or a retainer because they're basically the same thing. I've seen even people editing historical pictures. Oh, look, this is a samurai. He wears armor. And this is a retainer. Who doesn't wear armor. Like, and they just change.
He guarded the chambers, like, like you're not gonna give that to
No,
somebody
no,
who don't
no,
know what the
no,
hell they're
no, no,
doing.
that no, that the funny thing is that someone just edited the picture because it wasn't a retainer. It was a servant of that samurai. Like, this is the length these people are going.
You
It's
wouldn't
They are
have a
doing more
samurai guard you in
research
your
than they did
sleep.
for their American history class. Like I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
damn, like if y'all did this much work in school, y'all might be better off. Like y'all sitting here worried about, well, I'm Googling it, I'm looking at these. I'm like,
yeah,
I've never seen like racists and sexists will put in some work,
yeah.
man, to get their point across. Like, I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong on this. And I'm just like, again, none of this shit matters, bro. I like we've said, I'm just excited to play a game where you can play two different styles. You got the samurai, you got the stealthy shinobi. Like I what I want to know is, like, if I pick one character, will I have a completely different playthrough than if I pick
Experience
another
or
one? Like,
storyline.
Apparently, one
yeah.
person can't be stealthy, and the other one is super stealthy.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as far as just like story goes. Like, can I like start the game as Yasuke and like his complete playthrough is completely different than the other girl, and then like I play her game and it's a completely different story. Because if I could play this game twice and experience something completely different, I'm all for that. Like, um, but yeah, that's the shit I'm worried about. Like, because I pre-ordered it, I want to know more about it. Like, how deep does it go? How different is it? Is it like a GTA type of switch? Like, I could just switch the character and all of a sudden I'm zapped over to the other character, or is it more like a I can't do it unless I'm in a certain spot kind of thing? Like, these are the questions that I care about, but people are too busy, nitpicking on who knows more about history over here. Um, but yeah, this whole argument is just it's so stupid. Like, again, like
Yeah.
I have more respect for racism, for racists and sexists who are just upfront about it. Like, just say that. Like, you ain't got to come up through, and go jump through 78 different hoops and to try to, cover up the fact that it's really just about, your racism and your sexism. Just say it. Just say I don't want to play as a black character. It just ended at that. Stop trying to look for different avenues so that you can hide behind that and try to say, well, actually, it's because it's because it's not. I don't think that accuracy is 100%, and I'm trying to make sure that the Japanese people are represented. And I'm like, oh, so we care about representation now. Interesting. Okay, you know, people have been using the example of the Neo games, like. About a white samurai, essentially in all the Neo franchise, and nobody caring about that. But then their defense to that is, well, it's a Japanese developer, so they can tell their story how they want. If they want to use a white man, that's fine. Let's be real. If Neo was black, y'all would have
Oh
y'all would
yeah.
have
Yeah,
pulled out
like
your
Neo is
pitchforks and
literally.
and cried for that too, and it would have been about, well, this is a Japanese, they're Japanese, they can tell the story how they want. No, 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 they can tell the story how they want because it's somebody that y'all can relate to. Oh, it's a white guy, it's fine. Okay, cool. But the moment it's, oh, black man, oh well, they're not Ubisoft, they're not Japanese devs, so they can't rewrite the history. They have to put Japanese representation in there and yada yada yada. I'm like, all right, okay, okay. The complainers and the the spokespeople for anti DEI all of a sudden care about representation. All right, bet, cool. Um, Again, argument stupid. We should be the focus should be on what the game is, and you know whether it's going to be worth the price of admission with this, $130 ultimate deluxe edition or whatever. That should be the focus of people's debates, and not this arbitrary bullshit. But people are going to be people, and gamers are going to be gamers, and next week they'll
Nah,
find something else
they're
to,
no gamers.
to complain about.
As I say,
They're no
alleged
gamers.
alleged gamers until further notice.
Oh yeah, you're right,
I
because
mean,
a lot of them are. And once again, the spokesperson for bigotry himself, Grums, has decided to jump onto
oh
this bandwagon
god.
as well.
Of course.
And now he's once again leading another strike, a revolt against the community. It's a full attempt to distract people from the fact that he's one of the worst developers out there, and he can't make a game to save his life. And that's the only reason why he's doing this shit. He realized like I said, ever since Twitter has started, and I don't care that Elon has paid now for Twitter to be removed, because it's official. Like, you can't, whenever you look up Twitter now, it's gonna show X. I don't give a shit. It's Twitter. Ever since Twitter has essentially started paying people for engagement, the worst of the worst people have come out and have just been engagement baiting out their ass. Like, because again, ever since Grum realized that he can get paid off this shit, and he doesn't have to rely on his failings as a developer to get a living anymore, he has been the spokesperson for everything that is anti-woke. I'm just I'm just tired of seeing this fuckhead. Like, it's gonna be something else. Another game's gonna have another protagonist who's not a white male, and he's gonna be the leader against that game as well on the next thing. And it'll be like 3 weeks from now when another game has come out to be not white or male.
Oh, especially because the Summer Games Fest is coming. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he'll have his pickings of games. He can just pick out of his hat which one. All right, which one am I gonna get the most engagement out of on this week? Oh, let's pick that one. And the fact that people haven't realized that that's what he's doing, that he doesn't actually, I mean, he might actually believe some of this, but this is mostly about him trying to get the bag off of idiots.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that people haven't realized that yet, and they're still following him and look to him as a leader and a revolutionary on fucking Twitter, is it just goes to show the stupidity level of this app.
It's simple. People are fickle.
People are sheep. That's the problem.
Yeah,
And they crave to be led, and usually they crave to be led by idiots because they can relate to idiots. So that's this whole thing that's happening with them. The people have no ability to think for themselves, and they look to others to form their own opinions. Like, oh, this sounds like a good idea, so I'll follow this guy. He makes sense to me. I'm not going to research anything he has to say, but I like the way he says it, so I'm just going to back him. And I'm going to regurgitate the information that he says, even though it's wrong. But I'm going to, whenever somebody tries to come at me and says, oh, that's wrong. But Grum said, I'm going to use his screenshots.
They're really going to follow the guy who spent the bulk of his game's budget on the sperm bus.
Yeah, exactly. That's how much of an idiot he is, and the fact that's why he's doing this, because he's failed so hard in his career that this is where he's fallen. This is what it's come to. He has to rely on this Twitter engagement in order to stay relevant. Because, like I said, he failed as a fucking developer. So this is what it is. This is what he's gonna do. And next week he's gonna find another fight to fight, and it's gonna go on and on and on until people wake up, which they won't, because it is what there's always an idiot is born every day. So he'll have plenty to pick from.
Who keep going in and out? I think someone having an issue. But yeah, continue.
Oh no, that was it. I was just ranting about him being an idiot.
Again, people are fickle. People are genuinely fickle.
Racists are racist. Anyway, I need to go. So I'm out. Yes, it's a Weeb Sheriff. You can find me on Twitter. I'm gonna keep dead naming it until Elon stops dead naming his own daughter. You can find me at Infinite Rhizome. Great show, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show, and of course, Otter Nation.
Otter
Later, man.
Nation.
Shut for coming through. And
Bye.
Bye.
he left because the podcast is boring. Don't worry about him. Um, shout out to Weeb, a great dude. Going back to it, Assassin's Creed. What frustrates me is people are not focusing on the 120 or 130. That's another thing. But the biggest one is we don't even know how the gameplay is going to be. What's improved? What new mechanic? Is it going to be a copy paste from Valhalla?
Right. I'm
Like,
interested in the fact that they said that it's going to be more the bases are going to be more customizable than they were in Valhalla. Like that's the shit that I'm like, ooh, that
what do you
sounds good
mean?
to me.
What
You
she
know,
said?
you remember how in Valhalla the your home base, you know, you were able to, once you got like enough resources, you could like build like a fishing hut and
Oh,
the
that
hall.
that's boring.
No. With that in Valhalla, it was boring because you couldn't actually customize anything. You were just kind of getting resources and opening up shacks that were already there. But with Assassin's Creed, it's going to be a lot more versatile. That's what they said. Like you can do a lot more customization with your home base and stuff. And I'm like, that I'm interested in. That sounds good to me. Like the mechanics, it's going to be bigger open world. Like the stuff they're saying about the game itself, I like. I'm a little wary because again, this is still Ubisoft. So I'm not getting my hopes too high, but from what they're saying, it sounds like a vast improvement. And this is the studio that made Odyssey, which I liked a lot better than Valhalla. So I have
That's
a
the only
little bit
one
more
I
faith in
liked
this
out
game.
of anything since Black
Yeah,
Flag.
I at least finished Odyssey. I had a good time with Odyssey. I liked Odyssey.
Yep, I got the platinum
Did
for
not,
Odyssey.
could not.
That was boring.
Yeah,
Help me.
you said Odyssey was boring.
You said Valhalla is boring.
Yeah, I didn't like
Valhalla is
Valhalla. I couldn't
boring.
even finish Valhalla. So this being a different team gives me a little bit more faith in the game. So
I want my $100 back.
I knew how I was gonna feel too as soon as I saw the idea of what it was gonna be because you know we didn't know what it was and they said oh it's gonna be Vikings. I said oh here we go. I said here's some generic white bread ass shit. Vikings. How are you gonna have assassins who are Vikings? Vikings are like the opposite of assassins.
Literally the
I was just like,
opposite.
all right, literally opposite. Like they are all for action first,
Well, they ain't been an
stealth later.
assassin since Rogue, so
You're right. You're right. And I'm just like, okay, here we're going deeper into the pot of getting away from actually what assassins are. So I just kind of rolled my eyes, and I knew I was gonna buy it because I just, even though I fucking hate the way Ubisoft has treated Assassin's Creed, I just can't stop myself from buying an Assassin's Creed game. So I bought it anyway, and was immediately
Maybe
only
disappointed. I was just
Ubisoft
like,
would
before
fucking
seeing
show a
gameplay.
CGI and then drop pre-orders though. You pieces
Yeah,
of shit.
yeah.
I'm genuinely surprised you bought it before seeing gameplay. I'm surprised.
Well, one, again, it's a different team. Two, I've been waiting for Assassin's Creed in Japan forever, so it was gonna be a day one for me anyway. Back when they said they were finally doing it, I was already gonna get it. Two, last time I waited too long to get the steelbook, I missed out, so I was not gonna do that again.
Okay.
So I needed that. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, Valhalla, Shadow. Do you guys know? Maybe at Summerfest we're gonna see gameplay.
I mean, yeah, that's already a given because they already
They're
had their
at
show.
Ubisoft's having their own event, so they're gonna show. Yeah,
They
that's
drop
the
a
thing.
CG
I don't know if you
trailer
remember.
and then they show gameplay at their event. They always
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. I was like, Ubisoft
After you've
always
already
does this. They
ordered it,
always
it's a pain in the ass to cancel.
show a CGI trailer first, and then like a month or two down the line, then they show the gameplay. So, yeah, they're gonna show gameplay. Don't worry.
They want you to buy
Like
it
this
before
the same
you.
shit they did with
They show
Valhalla.
it
It's
to
the
you.
same shit they did with Odyssey. It's the same shit they did with Origins. Like this is how they always do their games. CGI trailer first, then gameplay, then a little in-depth behind the scenes. Like it's the same shit every
Yep.
time.
They show you that CGI and you're like, ooh yeah, you go out and order that and you're like, yeah, it ain't gonna be like that.
Assassin's Creed is my jam, so
Gotcha,
I'm
gotcha.
day one. I ain't even gonna front. I ain't even gonna act like I'm I'm day
Oh, I
one.
know you're gonna be in over there in your little light bright Nikes like you were in Valhalla,
Hmm.
because that's historically accurate for Vikings to have light up Skechers apparently.
My katana
Because
lightsabers
he
and
had
my.
a mind you in Valhalla, because Nate can't help himself and he be buying the ultimate deluxe edition and shit. His character had these like light up Sketcher ass shoes and a fucking lightsaber ass sword, and I was just like, I was watching him play through share play or whatever. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, he was just lit up. And I'm like, of course, this is the game, this is the franchise where people are worried about historical accuracy. Because as we know, Vikings were ahead of their time in fashion, and they always had, the latest in tech in that way. So, yeah. I was just like, like, unlike us, Nate actually liked Valhalla. So, I'm kind of, we have very different tastes when it comes to that type of game.
I'm gonna
But
be in there day
I'm
one.
gonna forgive him. I'm gonna forgive him this one time.
Valhalla made me feel like I was playing fucking Light Bright.
Yeah,
If you
essentially.
all remember what a Light
I
Bright
hated the
is.
part where we had to go to the worst part for me was when we had to actually go to Valhalla. Like, that shit was boring.
Okay,
I was
yeah,
like, what the
Oh my god! Oh my
I
god!
hated that.
That's where I quit. I
My
was there
issue
for
with
like
Valhalla,
20
Yeah,
hours, and I was
me
like,
too.
I just don't want. I don't want to play no
I
more.
was like, can I not leave? How the fuck do I get out of here? I was like, I hate this.
Yo,
my
whoever
Get me the fuck
designed
out of
that
here.
map, I hope they're fired.
my
That shit was
issue with
horrible.
Valhalla is too much, and then
Way
a
too much
third
bullshit,
one
man.
opens up. I'm
It's
like,
like an Easter egg hunt.
what
I don't want to do
the
that shit.
hell? Another one opens up?
Bro,
Like,
Wara said that his missus that was her first platinum was Valhalla, bruh. She a good one, cause
Damn, tell her she a goat. God
yeah,
dang.
cause
I
that's
salute to that.
crazy. Cause it's so easy to mess that up too. That's what makes it crazy is because you need like the secret ending, and it's a specific couple choices you have to make, and like there's so many ways to mess it up. And then you could just honestly just walk past the area you were supposed to and never get the ending you were supposed to because you never had the interaction. So for her to get the freaking plat, yeah, she went hard on that. I wanted it, but I gave up when I found that out. I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good.
Uh,
I'm good actually.
yeah. Um,
But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I don't really care. Screw all those people. I've played every single Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed has existed, and I don't give a shit what they say. Day one.
yeah, race is gonna be a race.
I am unfortunately the same way. Even though Assassin's Creed has fallen far for me, it's just something, it was like one of the first AAA action adventure games that really got me on my path of liking this, AAA single player games.
Yeah.
Like that, playing Assassin's Creed 1, as clunky as it was, I was like, what is this? This is fucking amazing. And I've been a fan ever since, even though they have fallen far from what I, proclaim Assassin's Creed should be. Now it just seems like they're just kind of putting, it's a dive into history. We're kind of put a different country skin on it and slap Assassin's Creed on it, and that's Assassin's Creed game. We've kind of, ever since my
They
boy
just changed
Desmond
the map
died.
and the main characters and just fucking keep it moving.
Yeah. Ever since my boy Desmond died, they've just kind of just been like, with the story. Like, he was the glue to the Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
And they
Change the
killed
environment and
my
do
boy.
the same thing.
They killed my boy, killed essentially the story with the Apple of Eden and all of that, and the cool lore behind the scenes of Assassin's Creed, which made Assassin's Creed so cool. The actual lore of it and the real battle between the Templars and the Assassins. Like, it seems like a lot of that is lost in translation. Like, they don't even care about the backstory anymore. Like, the actual what's going on and what they're fighting for, and the once you got out of the animus and had to walk around as Desmond, that part was just as fun to me as being in the animus and being the character, because Desmond was such a cool character, and the fight that he was fighting outside of the outside of the past was cool. Like his fight in the present was cool too, and the characters, his friends that were helping him, the people, they were cool, and it was just that was so. I don't even care about this chick. Like, I forgot who the chick is that's actually in the machine now.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even know her.
I couldn't
Who
couldn't
is
tell you. She
she?
popped out one time in a leather
Like,
jacket and
yeah,
screamed
and I'm
for
like,
her friend, and
oh,
I got
I
right
was so
back in, and I did
confused.
not care.
I was like, because
Apparently
like I said, I cared about Desmond.
Apparently she is an
And,
Ubisoft dev.
I mean, we don't know, but we
oh,
just
okay.
don't know. We just don't know who she is, though. As
I
comparison
don't
to
know who.
before.
Like, I knew who. Yes, I'm saying I cared about the character outside of the Animus. I don't care about this one, and I'm like, they really
Yeah.
barely show her, and when they do, it's just like for like a 2 second. You're walking, you're like, oh, she's tired. Give her some water. Give her some water. Okay, get back into the Animus now. I'm like, oh, okay, and you're right back in it. It's just like there's no really connection with that character. Like the only connection you have is whoever you're playing in the past, and that's it. So they've kind of lost to me the magic of Assassin's Creed, of what it was, and what you were fighting for. Now it's like I said, it's just like a reskin every year. It's still fun in its own way, but like I said, it's not Assassin's Creed for me anymore. It's just an Assassin's Creed clone.
It's just a change in what's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for
location.
here? Yeah, basically.
Like and like I said, I still buy it because it's still cool for what it is. It's just not what it was, and
You're
it's
addicted.
sad. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up on it, and I played all of them, so I was just like, at this
Valhalla
point,
hurt me. After playing Ghost of
it hurt me
Tsushima, I
too.
played Valhalla. After that, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I accidentally loaded up the PS4 one because it was like the first game I got on my PS5, and I loaded that up, and I was like, "Oh, this shit got to be PS4." And then I was like, "Oh, it is the PS4." And I deleted that and loaded up the PS5. I'm like, "Why does this feel worse than the 30 FPS shit, Ghost of Tsushima on my
Oh,
motherfucking PS4 4 Pro? What is this shit?"
damn. Yeah, Valhalla's the only Assassin's Creed that I haven't finished, and that hurts my soul, but I refuse to actually finish it.
Understandable.
Okay, we broke it to death with this one. Anyone have anything else to add about this Valhalla stuff? Then no. Nate and Morgan, you guys gonna take this topic, and it is about Stellar Blade.
Yeah. So, the Minister of Culture in Korea, um, had he came out in a statement in support of not only the Korean developers and fostering the talent in Korea, but also bolstering the global presence of Korea, uh, as far as making them a much bigger player in the console space. After seeing the success of both Liza P and now Stellar Blade, specifically, that was the trigger. Um, this was obviously a big thing because normally governments rarely get involved. The only time I can remember prior was the studio, I think it's Poland, where CD Projekt Red is, for obvious reasons. The author and stuff was from there, for The Witcher and so on and so forth, and they created a global phenomenon of a game that went on to sell over 20 million copies. So, to see them get in on the ground floor this early, after these two games, again, Stellar Blade being both mine and Morgan's game of the year so far, absolute breakout hit for a company that previously only did mobile games is crazy. I mean, I can't get that at all, but in tandem with that explanation of the game and its success, some of the stuff that people missed, because there was an interview that happened on the side for the director, and I know I saw a snippet from Colin, speaking of which, this kind of goes all together, where he was saying, that they own the IP and some other things, but a thing I think a lot of people miss is the director, who was the one that came up with a lot of the stuff and the concept and so on and so forth, stated it was his dream to create a PlayStation game. He grew up on PlayStation. He loved their games specifically. So to be able to work with PlayStation and have PlayStation bring in the quality testing, as well as sharing, some of their first party resources, which is, um, yeah, yeah, sharing some of their resources. Uh, sorry, Priscilla randomly started talking to me, and it completely destroyed my train of thought. But yeah, like I said, just all the stuff that happened, including the scope of the game increasing, um, just essentially gave us the game that we have today. So I mean, just to see that at the ground floor, like I said, from a government official coming in, making it such a broad statement, and ensuring they're going to foster that talent even further. That this, again, another untapped market, right? That was kind of the big problem for a long time with game development, is there were so many places that could be making games that, unless they kind of had a breakout indie game or something, they couldn't really get the funding, they couldn't really get noticed. And now with things like the China Hero Project, and now Yoshida doing similar things in Korea and also Africa, things are growing, and we're getting a lot of unique new games and talent. It's an incredible endeavor to see that. Also, the success of the game. I can't wait to, see what they talk about being a new IP, of this caliber. I still don't think it's quite gotten the reception it even really deserved. Honestly, after I've played it, it's just been a great experience to see them getting acknowledged on that level, and hopefully, PlayStation is already looking to greenlight part two, or
Well,
we'll see where it goes from there.
apparently the next game is not gonna be exclusive. It's gonna be multi-plat.
I mean, I haven't heard that, so I'm not gonna go. I don't know where that came from, but
Who, Shift Up?
To be-
I thought they made a deal with them.
I thought I read it somewhere. I'm gonna look it up right now.
yeah, I haven't seen anything on
Um,
that.
They make mobile games too. So
I just think this is why it's so important for PlayStation to reach out and partner with the developers, especially in countries that don't have that big of a gaming presence, especially in the AAA space. And this is kind of the fruitful, this is what kind of happens from that fruitful partnership we see, from partnering with PlayStation. Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah. Acceptira.
This
So,
man went to
Stellar
speak English
Blade-
already.
Just pause.
Oh no, I have it. Stellar Blade devs. Next game won't be PS5 exclusive. It's a
Who
sci-fi
is saying this?
action RPG game. RPG.
How about you share the link in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if this is from some bullshit ass place or Gaming Bolt,
I swear to God, Omar gets his shit on Reddit or something.
bro,
No, I
this better not be
Reddit.
this better not be reset
Yeah.
era. This better not be reset era, bro.
No, it's from Yahoo.
I still don't see no link.
Yahoo?
Here, I just
From
shared it.
Yahoo.
This is-
Who the Yahoo Tech? They wouldn't fucking know.
Oh my God.
Oh no, this is from PlayStationStyle.net. Sorry.
Again, some side local site, like they don't. This hasn't been reported by anyone else.
Oh, so it's from Reset Era.
Exactly. Exactly.
What did I just say?
What did
I
Nelson
knew it.
just
I
say?
knew it.
He said, "I swear to God, Omar, this is from Reset Era."
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate myself.
Fucking Omar every time, and I love it.
No, but thank you for the fucking title. Because I remember reading it somewhere.
Sounded
on
like them
Twitter.
guys who get their info from Xbox YouTube podcasters. Same goddamn thing. Bunch of bullshit.
I'm trying to
Omar, I
not
swear, I love
include
him.
Reset Era for the most part because they are. But
He said, "Oh
I
shit,
go
keep
for
shit
it.
interesting
hidden.
though.
It was hidden in there."
You gotta keep me on my
But,
toes
um,
though. Tell you what.
Yeah, you gotta read the fine print.
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, but
prefer
yeah,
it. Oh man.
this partnership between PlayStation and Shift Up, I think that it was definitely the best decision from both parties. It was originally going to be launched on, as we remember, both Xbox and PlayStation, and maybe
And PC.
PC too. I'm not. Yeah, PC. Okay. Um,
Yeah, you
because as
never
we
know. They
remember
might
when it was first
expand too, and
shown,
they might be making a game for PlayStation and a multiplat, or you know what I mean, or a
yeah,
mobile game, or a whatever.
because right now they're working on adding the boss mode, whatever you call it.
Yeah, boss
Yeah.
rush.
So it's the boss rush. So as we know, when it was originally shown, it was going to be a multiplat, right? And we were still excited for it. We were like, yeah, that looks cool. Like, it looks good. And then it came about that, they were losing funding or they didn't have any funding for the game. So thank God, PlayStation, and thank God it was PlayStation because
Mm-hmm.
as we see, not only from Hellblade 2, but just anything that honestly partners with Xbox, their lackluster idea of what marketing is. And because of the
Wait,
partnership with PlayStation, the
Xbox have
what?
marketing?
Boy, shut up. But yeah, because they partnered with PlayStation and they got the big the power of the PlayStation brand to be behind them and push them and market the hell out of some Stellar Blade, right? As we've seen, they
Mm-hmm.
marketed the fuck out of it. It's
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
It was all over. It was in New York. It was ads were everywhere. Like it was in Japan. Like they make sure if you partner with us, your game's gonna be known. Okay, that's like people can say whatever they want about PlayStation, but they can't dispute that fact. When you market with PlayStation, people gonna know about your game. So
When
PlayStation
you
decided,
market
yep,
with
yeah,
Xbox, people don't know about your game, not PlayStation. Oh, sorry, I misheard you. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, you're good. Uh, but yeah, it was just you had Yoshida. I don't know if anybody watched the behind the scenes uh making of the game and how it came to PlayStation that they did before the game launched. They were just talking about how
So
instrumental.
I have a question. Cause I remember
Go ahead.
saying it, cause I remember seeing it, but when I tried to verify it, I couldn't see the. So the rumor was, at least what from what I've read, the reason why they went with PlayStation exclusivity is because they were lacking in funding, and
Yeah.
PlayStation offered to fund it. Is this
Yes.
true?
I just said that, Omar. I swear to God, you don't be listening when I talk,
I
man.
heard you
The
say
way
it,
you
but
just,
the issue is I couldn't find any single what you call it
yes.
article about it.
Again, if you watch the like I was saying before you interrupted me, if you watched the how it was made or whatever they want to call it, the behind the scenes director, dev thing that they did before it launched, they had like a video come out every week before launch. They explained that they had run out of funding and luckily Yoshida, I think he was in town for something else. And he came by to try out the game and he loved it and was like, yeah, we're partnering with you guys, like we got you. And then ever since then, I'm telling you, once Yoshida gives somebody the green light, that's it. They're a part. They immediately get the check from Sony, and yeah, they had that. That's the story. They were running out of
If
funding, and
if you
Yoshida came
can
through. He tried out the game, and he loved it.
if you can find that link for me, that would be appreciated. Not now, obviously, but I really
Lord
want to
Jesus,
listen to it.
Omar.
So just tell me which part
You
of.
might just
I
have
will
to
look
go
it
to
up.
YouTube and just look up Shift Up. Like
Yeah.
they have their dev diaries or
No,
whatever they call them.
I remember seeing it
But
on
yeah,
Twitter, and yeah, which is crazy. So this game wouldn't have existed without PlayStation.
I mean, it may have existed in some form because I'm sure
It would
somebody
have been a lot
would have.
smaller, and it wouldn't have looked like this.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it wouldn't have gotten
It'd be
the
a
fanfare that it
Metroidvania.
has
Omar would
now.
be very happy.
Oh
You know,
no,
I think
I don't.
it's
This
listen,
platforming is terrible,
He's teasing you. He's
atrocious,
teasing you, man.
one
This
of
is a
the
joke.
worst.
All right, Drax, calm down.
it's not Drax. I'm gonna start calling this nigga Drax. Um, Yeah, it still would have been the same game for the most part. I just don't think it would not have gotten the media attention that it needed for this game to blow up the way it did without PlayStation, because PlayStation made sure that people get first-hand impressions. The like I said, the marketing is everywhere. You'll see it plastered all over. It's #1 in Japan now for like the third week in a row. Like, again, without PlayStation's influence and push to market this game and get it out to where it needs to and get it in the right hands and make sure people play the game, it still would have been a great game. It just would have been a great game that nobody knew about. That for the most part people weren't playing. But that's the one thing that you get from partnering with PlayStation, is they're gonna make sure that your game gets out there. Now it's up to you to make a good game for people to stick to it and want to play it, but they're gonna make sure people know it exists. So, and for the most part, PlayStation doesn't partner with games that they don't deem are going to be successful anyway. So they have a pretty good radar for what is a good game. I can't really say that for other platforms, but
you gotta call
PlayStation.
Yoshida out here, the indie whisperer.
Yoshida, man, that man, like, he is a whisperer.
Yeah,
He is.
was a W. Kena is a W. Fist is an amazing game.
There isn't a game that man has not like given the thumbs up that I have not liked. Like, that man cannot miss. Like, I think he is one of the most instrumental people in PlayStation. Like, people just like look at him like, oh, especially people outside of PlayStation, they just look at him as just like, oh, he's just like the indie guy. But like, listen, he's the indie guy because that's where he want to be. Now, if he wanted to be higher, he would be. All right.
Absolutely.
But because he was at one point.
He's an indie guy. Like, do you see how far?
He loves that.
How much
and as he should, because I love indies too.
He travels slowly.
Yeah. They send out when they need a game to be checked out, and they need to know whether a PlayStation needs to know whether to write a check or look the other way. They send Yoshida out there. They're like, yeah, you go ahead out there, you go play the game. You tell us. You tell us whether it's a banger or not. Mm-hmm. And what if he likes it, he gives you the green light, then that's it. That's all she wrote, and PlayStation will fully back you because they trust in this man, as they should, because he's excellent at his fucking job.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Shout out to him.
He went and checked Black Wukong.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, because that's another game from another market, China, that is looking to blow up in the AAA scene. So, and with their China Hero project, PlayStation looks to expand over there too. And I'm sure he's going over there too, trying other games. So, whenever he, tweets out that he's liking a game, I immediately look at it. I'm like, okay, what game he talking about? Because he was the same way with Plucky Squire, another indie game that I want to play. He was like, yeah, this is gonna be it. And I was like, yes, it got the Yoshida. It got the thumbs up. That's all I need. That's all I need. I was already looking at it.
Because of Yoshida?
No, not because.
No, I said I was already looking at it. I was already looking at it, but then he tweeted about how this game's it. Like, this is a good game, and I was like, oh, cool, yes, it definitely got the approval. So I already know it's about to be good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so like whenever he's on to something or involved in a project or involved in the recruitment process, I'm always excited because this man has never missed yet. Knock on wood, but he knows.
And he loves his job.
He knows games. He knows games.
I swear I seen that.
He's the type of person. Go ahead.
What do you want to call it? Easter egg in Everybody's Golf. I was playing yesterday. I took a snapshot. I'll put it in the chat in a little bit. I swear to God, I was like running around looking at the people or whatever. Like, I was like, God damn it, shoes in Everybody's Golf. Look at this shit. I swear to God, it's him.
Yeah,
I swear it is the Easter egg.
There is literally a PlayStation game about Yoshida. I'm not joking.
I mean, if anybody deserves one, that man. He done secured the games for them a lot.
It's an indie side-scroll single platformer, very simple shit with gun, but it exists. I remember seeing him.
I believe it. I mean, honestly, Xbox needs their own Yoshida because they have a terrible track record when it comes to partnering with games.
It's crazy. They haven't managed to get one in about 25 years.
I'm just like,
their issue is
now that's not
they
saying that
don't
every game they
know
partner with is bad, but their radar on what could potentially be a breakout
their
hit is just it seems to be broken.
their biggest. So Xbox have had two biggest W. The first one
Hmm.
it's
You can't
Ori.
even remember the damn game.
No, no, no,
Damn,
no,
dude.
I do.
Or yeah,
Ori.
that
And
was a
the
good one.
other one is Cuphead.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
okay,
that was a
let
good one
me
too.
let me explain the difference to you, right?
But
Automatically. On those two games, neither one of them developers needed Xbox's damn help. That's the difference.
no,
See, no, they didn't
Cuphead they
need their
just
help. They still made the game. I'm not talking about money only. I'm talking about real help, not cash, actual help. They didn't help them. They gave them
what
money.
do you mean?
They supported them
Money.
monetarily. I'm talking help, as in the shit that I told you that PlayStation did in order to help Stellar Blade be the game that it is today. Verbatim, it's listed. The 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 former president, SIE Worldwide Studios for Sony Entertainment, renowned for his support for indie games, approached the developer at Shift Up after playing the prototype. He was thoroughly impressed and facilitated a contract with PlayStation. Initially intended to be a small scale project, the game received a significant boost through the partnership with Sony. Sony provided them with extensive support, including full localization, marketing, full QA testing, and tool sharing from other Sony studios. Stellar Blade was said to be inspired by a 90s anime. That is directly stated from the interview with the director. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you call supporting a developer.
Instrumental.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where the game would not be what it is today without all that influence and all those things that were provided by PlayStation. And that is what got us the Stellar Blade that is the 9.5 that we're getting to enjoy today. That is what I'm talking about when PlayStation partners with a studio, and that is the level of support you get. If any of us were making a game and we needed to partner with someone, I have no doubt none of us, there's not a single person in here that wouldn't choose PlayStation to partner with. Absolutely not. Like, who else is going to give you that level of support? Even as dope as Kojima is, like we talked about earlier, the PlayStation first party teams, Herman Holst and the whole nine yards, were instrumental in getting him the Decima engine, which is exclusive, and no one
They gave
else
him the
has
money to build a
access.
studio too.
Yeah, the money to build the studio, the whole nine yards, right? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This level of support that PlayStation gives you, like an engine. Like, I think people forget how long it takes to build a quality engine, one that works. Hell, it should be perfect example. A lot of places have built them and then cut them because
They
they can't
gave him his
support them.
choice too. He almost picked Sucker Punches too. It came down to Gorillas and Sucker Punches. So they basically were like, pick whatever you want.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, to have that to
Like,
offer,
who does that?
is unprecedented, because look at what, again, people always thought it was a money game, right? And then 343 or whatever tried to create that. All we heard was a slipstream engine or whatever. Slipspace engine is going to be
Shit
the greatest
Space engine.
Yeah, it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever played in your life. And immediately now they're cutting that out and they're going Unreal. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I say people underestimate the things that PlayStation does that are not simply monetary. And PlayStation does this for more than just this. This is just one of the places you're hearing about it. PlayStation does this for a ton of studios that work hand in hand with them. And that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. That's that next level shit. PlayStation just operates on a completely different level. But
Yeah, they offer
What of
massive
PlayStation?
help that doesn't
Go
revolve around
ahead,
money.
go ahead, Morgan.
exactly. Yeah, not
No,
that
I'm
it
good.
doesn't
Go ahead.
not that it doesn't cost, you know what I'm saying, but it's not, money alone is not going to get you that. You got to have the other stuff. You mean support, I mean they almost got support in like a second tier studio kind of way, getting support from support tools from other studios. Remember when we were first shocked when we heard about the modes the resolution, the balance, and the performance. We were like, oh, that's a PlayStation thing. Wait a minute, you know.
Definitely a PlayStation thing, and I think PlayStation was instrumental in getting those modes, and that balance mode is honestly perfect. I
Absolutely.
haven't switched from it. Haven't felt the need to switch from it. Though it's so steady. The gameplay is so smooth, like, and it looks beautiful. Like, no complaints whatsoever. I haven't had any bugs or glitches, no crashes, no nothing. So it's just been a phenomenal experience on this game. And uh yeah, I don't think, like I said, I think that Shift Up, I think that they didn't think that the game was going to be as successful as it was. Like I'm sure they, everybody wants to think that their game's going to do fantastic, and I'm sure they had like a set number of what they thought it was going to do, and the buzz that it was going to get. But I think what they've received from this game and the accolades and the sales, I feel like it surpassed what they thought it was going to do. And a lot of that has to do with their partnership with PlayStation. And I think I'm pretty sure, I don't want to speak for the devs obviously because I don't, I don't work there and I don't know, but I'm sure they are very happy from what they've gotten from the PlayStation partnership. So, controversy about, censorship aside, even though they've already claimed, already came out and said it wasn't, but people are going to believe what they want to believe. So,
Mm-hmm.
but aside from all that, the game has been vastly successful, and like I said, it's my game of the year. So a surprise for me. Like I was always going to get it day one, but I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. So yeah, it was just a great surprise, a great game, fruitful partnership. That's what we love to see. Games that you know get the recognition that they need and that they deserve. And you know, now Shift Up is going to be a well-known AAA studio in Korea. So I mean South Korea. So I can't wait to see what they do next. I'm excited. Like day one, if they make another AAA single player game, I'll be there. Like I
Absolutely.
can't wait. So yeah.
Gotcha. With that being said, my last topic is an extra. Very quick.
I was like, wait, there's no other topic.
It's an extra.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's me. Add another one.
The
All right,
Death
well,
of
I'm gonna
Call
make
of
it quick
Duty.
because I gotta go pick up food. So,
Oh yeah, no. Then let's end it. It was a joke topic. So let's move. Let let's end it. If you gotta pick up food.
yeah, that's fine.
Uh, Nelson, where people can find you?
Nelson Gaming 12 around. Yep.
Morgan, shout out to you for coming through. Where people can find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter. It's always gonna be Twitter. I don't care what anyone says. You can find me on Twitter at Chill Bandit. Talking about games, hopefully beating Stellar Blade, so I can finally accomplish something with my backlog. But yeah, completing and platinuming, hopefully by the end of this week. If you
Hopefully,
haven't played Stellar Blade yet, yeah, jump on it.
jump on it.
Amazing game, definitely worth the money. Do it now. But yeah, see you guys next week. Thanks for coming through.
Okie dokie. And lastly but not least, and Nate, shout out to you. Where people can find you?
Yeah, on Twitter at the real Nate, and shortly, hopefully, as much as I've enjoyed it, coming to the end of my journey with Stellar Blade, securing the platinum, and getting to move on to Uden
Yeah,
Chronicles or something else.
Night,
Yeah.
playing it without me, getting ahead of me.
As
Mhm.
for me, people can find me at Caravan Hub on Twitter and Vitamin D Podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Chat, Warawana, the mods, and Fresh for being engaged in chat. Also, hey, Viper Reap joined. And one last thing, we are now sitting at 25 subscribers. Shout out to everyone that subscribed to the channel, and I'm looking forward to its growth. Uh, Otter Nation, I guess, and see you next week.
Otter Nation.